teams at reading the circle, right? They always find where the best spot is. They always find the best point of attack. But most of the time when we see them do those reads, they come in from angles which are undefended, right? If there are 4 teams in the circle, there are going to be that one team at the other side of the safe zone. But now putting themselves in the center, I agree. I think they're definitely trying something out, and I don't think they mind going into phase 2 not being in first place, because there's not really much at stake as long as they get to play the first game on week number 3. But fingers crossed, it brings them some good reward, because so far I feel like if you put yourself in the center of the circle, you better have a super solid plan or compound to work with, or you're a sitting duck.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's all about the placements, and I don't know, maybe they were just trying to pile up the pressure on themselves, because I couldn't really tell exactly what they were experimenting with. One thing's for sure, towards the end of the day, where they really wanted to guarantee themselves some points, then they go back to their usual playstyle. They're looking for those final circles a little bit late. They're kind of trickling in with the rest of the teams from the opposite side of the map. I have no idea how they read the map so well, from that sort of a situation. But that's the beauty of Buriram usually, right? But of course, we are preparing for game number 1. Once again, we're going to start things off here at Purgatory, where the assumption is Falcons going to be flying out of the gates here, full power, going for the first booyah of the day, albeit they have not secured a booyah here just yet at Purgatory.
Yeah. Let's see if Falcons can once more start off strong. There are a couple of teams I also am looking at for Purgatory. Funnily enough, aside from Falcons, we have VP, which traditionally on Purgatory isn't that bad, but again, with the departure of Sa Ming not being in the active roster, it has placed a lot of doubts on how far they would come. Whereas for me, Esports, I think Nolan and Nero have been an unexpected duo that has really delivered on all fronts.
I absolutely agree. LBT, as usual, the consistency is key. This guy just keeps delivering on all of those eliminations. But we're back to our match here. I honestly thought we were going to hit a restart, but we seem to be continuing on with the flight path. And Falcons and RRQ, very close proximity to each other. This is not something that I like for Falcons, because RRQ early game especially are lethal.
They truly are. And if you cannot get into RRQ's head, they surely will take you down as soon as they can. Well, Magna Esports on the other hand, they get the same drop spot as Heavy, so Don't Cry would draw first blood, but the rest of Magna, they should still be able to disengage. They might have to drop a second member, but as long as they get to keep this run going, I think it's good enough. Raymel will be isolated. RRQ finds Pina on the other side.
Dude's very deadly, but the quota has been popped. He knows exactly where Pina is. Both playing with the exact same gun, but 18 Deer from up top. It's a 2v1. Down Pina will go as they overwhelm him with the numbers, but a very easy revive for the side of Falcons. They do have a little bit of distance with them and the rest of the RRQ players here, so nothing much to worry about for the time being. But on the other side of the map here, the Indonesian squad that has made their way up onto the FFWS SEA stage for the first time, Kagendra seems to be able to avoid an encounter with Team Flash.
Yeah, just Team Flash rotating towards the north side, so Kagendra gets possession of all this entire area, which actually is pretty good, right? Decent loot, plenty of compound, a vending machine to boot as well. They even use the binoculars right in front of them just to make sure that no remainders of Team Flash are hiding in the compound. But this RQ and Falcons encounter, a tale as old as time. They like the southern part of Purgatory, and Cororo finds revenge by taking out dudes. It seems like we might be on for a full-on battle. 18 Deer in front of on fire already.
Yeah, beautifully done. But can the time turner save him? Double vectors in hand, and the glue wall needed to be pulled out. 18 Deer kind of escaping here with the skin of his teeth, and backup coming on through as well. Cororo in a lot of trouble. Pulls out yet another glue wall, but 18 Deer just could not manage his situation well there in that 1v1, but an easy revive pulled back by Abe, and Ma'al will disengage from this engagement as well.
I'm surprised that Ma'al stuck around a little bit, tried to at least get a cheeky shot in, but there are 2 vehicles on the side of Falcon, so Ma'al definitely is going to end up going down. They ran him over, and Limit finds the 3rd point for the team. RRQ sort of taking a bit of an extra beating than they would have liked, as Alan runs into Jans on the other side of Crossroads. This should be another casualty for Magna.
This is unfortunate for Jans, and Magna starting off a little poorly here once again. And oh my goodness, not even enough room for the revival. Down they go in 12. Buriram on the other hand finding a player from the side of Heavy. 2 eliminations already, and these are just lucky ones that they're finding out there. I don't think they are on full-on hunt mode just yet.
No, not at all. I think for BRU, you take what you can get. If someone shows up, you get a free point, and then you play slow. And this has been BRU for the good 2 years, I think, since 2023, where they are no longer the team that runs at you 5 minutes into the game, and they just keep on getting as much eliminations as possible. They've mellowed down a little bit, but in exchange, they are getting Reese right on the map. They're getting into the safe zone almost every single time, and that's why their win rate has been kept so high up till 2024, where the rest of the region started catching up to them. But even then, you can see the veterancy of BRU still remains. They're not going to engage with you unnecessarily, but if you do dare to challenge them, you better be ready for a fight.
Yeah, on top of that, they just recovered, so this is the last thing they want, running into another squad. They barely have the loot on the boys that they just brought back in here, but Buriram, I just said they were not on hunting mode. Looks like I was wrong. Get high. Finding Allen, and Bui better get out of here because Jonah is on the hunt as well. 2 players on the side of Buriram with the AC-80 on them. And beautiful as Virtus Pro goes in for the hunt as well. Bumping into the players of Bigatron. And X-Posy with a Rebel Rush. Quick reposition coming on through. A 2v1. Cassie's Electrotherapy keeping Kyung on his feet. But one more shot is all it will take as Bigatron falters and gets kicked out at the 11th spot.
Yeah, very valiant attempt of trying to put their launch pad at the very last moment. Felt like if that call was made slightly earlier, they might have had a chance, but we'll have to see how they recover next round. Ma'ao getting picked up once more, RRQ. Ever since losing possession of Fire Brigade to Team Falcons, they have been on the recovery mode, but ended up running into GOW and losing Ma'ao at the start while they haven't really gotten back on their feet and bound to lose dudes as well. This is going to be a tough round for RRQ. Rick just turns around the corner, they put on the blue wall, do somehow finds himself with a 1v3, and Hans easily takes care of him. AGAL got taken care of by Team Flash.
Come on, AGL! I put you on my predictions. You got hustle extra on the rest of the matches. Getting eliminated so early in here on this purgatory map. Not what I expected for AGL, but that's exactly how the cookie crumbles in this insane lobby. Riptide Rhythm. Moshi! AC-80 to the head. 18D stood no chance.
That was a nasty shot, but it's just another day in the office for Moshi. Get high, not wanting to be outdone. Finds Mufasa too. Heavy. Very split apart from one another. And that's a 6 point for BRU. And it's not like they are going actively hunting. People are actively running into them. And BRU are just reaping the rewards of these 3 points.
It's not their lucky day, and I mean the other teams that are getting in the pathway of Buriram. That's point number 7 without trying, man. This is just Buriram at their very best. The Dinocular scanning out 2 players as well, but the question is exactly who that was, because Buriram, this is just too smart of a play. They know that there was only one final survivor. On the scan, they saw 2 players, and they said, nope, not for us. Quickly rotating back into a defensive spot, looking to play the circle and potentially gatekeeping the 2 players that they accidentally scanned out with the Dinoculars as well.
And when you look at the area that they took, it makes perfect sense, right? Second Dinoculars just to make sure. In fact, they take the launch pad, just take a Bihui with the grenade, and BRU now will come in to clean things up. The rotation for GOW pushed them in the crosshairs of BRU. Here they come. A full-fledged fight into the building. Zone them out first with the ice grenade. GOW retreats out of the compound, but now are spread apart. Jonah finds the Yan trying to turn the corner with a time turner under fire. GOW trying to hang on.
Yeah, the madmen are back. Buriram going out for the hunt. The Dinoculars, they were supposed to back away, but they get punished by GOW. The Vietnamese team out of nowhere putting up a strong fight. Moshi, the final player left alive in here. And the jump pad gets him to safety. 400 coins in his pocket. Needs to look for a vending machine pronto to bring the squad back. And I did not expect that. I was thinking they were going to go in here for a defensive spot, blah, 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 and a jump pad out of nowhere to attack GOW. That's exactly why you don't do that.
BRU must be thinking to themselves, we should have just stuck to the initial call because they had a good place to work with, right? They had this long stonewall GOW. Either they rotate into BRU or they miss each other, but BRU gets a clear rotation anyways. They took the chance and it looked well until Dian pulls out his grenade launcher. He took himself off in the process, but it was a sacrifice that was worth it. GOW ends up losing no one for the rewards of 3 points of a BRU, and now it puts BRU in a very awkward spot.
Yeah, Dian pulled a Jonah on Jonah, right? Grenade launcher to the head and literally pulled a Jonah on Jonah by taking himself out as well. So it's a risk that comes along with the Grenadier job, man. And just one revival is all Moshi can afford for the time being. Wasana brought back in here. And as he parachutes back in, there's a player from the side of Heavy as well, who just got brought back. P90 in hand. Moshi AC80 has the advantage with a range like this.
Has a Trogon as well as a secondary. I think he has been detected, depending on how Heavy wants to play this, because they actually have the whole team back. Calling it back up as well. Moshi now has to start thinking what to do. Wasana also second guessing whether he should help out Moshi. I think the call is just don't bother. Let Moshi go. It is unfortunate because he has the most complete assortment of arsenal, but in the situation, you have to somehow just make his sacrifice be worth it. Alan should be able to clean it up. And the Bison and the punch to the dome, Alan claims that one.
Bison versus the Trogon. Bison still wins, and Alan, he didn't get a freebie that was full on effort, but Heavy getting a sweet revenge after being hunted down by the players of Buriram. Wasana! Oh, life-saving glue wall. Had to use the Rebel Rush as well. But the end, it's GOW that finally finishes the job. 8 eliminations, and Buriram cheeky enough to attack GOW, and they pay the big price for it.
Oh, he so wished that you still have 2 charges of the Rebel Rush because he was 1 dash away from the low ground. But a good attempt either way, BRU. Now with them out of the picture, Falcons should feel a lot more comfortable. In fact, all of the teams remaining in this lobby have the full squad up. It's a matter of how crippled they are. RQ have more than enough time to recover. I think GOW, they didn't lose too much early on as well. Heavy had the full squad back. I wonder how Expand and Kagendra are doing because they have been pretty silent after the first 3 to 4 minutes.
I'm very happy to see the way Expand has been playing this. Very careful, not getting to this early skirmishes, not hunting for the heads of the Magna players, but just focusing on their own pathway in towards these deeper circles. And that kind of leads you to surviving past the 10-minute mark, unlike Buriram. But the question is, can they actually get to that final circle with a decent number of eliminations? Speaking of them, Boon James, long shot from afar, taken down too fast, headshot, but no eliminations just yet. So there should be a very quick recovery from the Expand players, but at least now they know exactly where to look at and which angle to avoid.
Yeah, back to full health too. I would wager that Virtus Pro probably on the northeastern side of the map, but that's where Expand is at. Seems like Heavy is uncontested. Kagendra a bit deeper into the zone with Team Flash. If you kind of draw a triangle around them, or a square at this point now that Virtus Pro is in sight. It is a pretty nice spot to control. All of these teams have decent compound to work with Expand having a bit of bonus. That vending machine is the closest to them, and with the circle closing in, now they get full possession of that accessory. But Virtus Pro will definitely be gunning for it. See that Dinocular is used by RRQ too.
Yeah, and the circle is going to be pretty lethal at this point of time, and RRQ needs to pick their poison. Flash or Virtus Pro. Either way, it's not going to be an easy fight unless, of course, the jump pad gets them an easy rotation. Falcons choosing to use the jump pad, but punished heavily by Heavy themselves. Pina trying his best. RGS-50 is not going to get the distance here, covered with those grenades.
What?
But pulling out the AWM limit gets a long-range connection onto those players from the side of Heavy as well. But as the final player left in here on the side of Falcons, he is going to struggle.
Pretty odd call by Pina. I thought he would stay and support Limit. I think you have a way better chance fighting that long-range fight alongside Limit, who probably pumped out a lot of damage but didn't have a finisher. But Pina flying in like that was basically signing a death sentence. Now leaving Limit to dry out on this high ground. Expand might be able to pick up a freebie if they see him.
How is he still alive, man? I mean, just tanking so much of the damage from the blue. Kagendra, on the other hand, Great grenade, and Raph finds the elimination onto Hans as well, pulls out the time turner, and that is a life-saving play on top of everything else. 20 more HP there, and the rest of his team members flood on into the time turner to wipe out the final player on the side of GOW. Kagendra doing very well to survive that.
But challenger number 2 has arrived. They just got rid of GOW, and Team Flash now shows their presence. Kagendra taking a very defensive stance. That's the last blue wall of Easy for dead. So they gotta play this carefully. Some utilities being thrown at Team Flash. They can still play with the trajectory of the circle. They're going to be running in parallel, but the lack of blue wall might bite them. So Easy for Ralph takes on the offense. But Huang taking out Raz. Too easy for Ralph. Ends up going down. This should be the end of Kagendra in the hands of Team Flash.
The clean plays by Flash, but now Heavy has got the advantage at least for the next few seconds. 20 more seconds for the circle to close on in. They've got the glue walls. They've got a broken lorry to kind of play around with as defense. They pull out 2 crazy monster trucks as well to absorb all of the damage and to peek on out of to take these shots up against Flash. But Flash, of course, using their terrain to their advantage, just ducking away from these shots, not engaging prematurely.
We saw Limit, we caught a glimpse of him on that roof just now. He could still play spoilers if he wants to. Somehow, being able to survive long enough without getting into vision. And he was taking the high ground where Expand had a good chance of spotting him out. But Expand, well, they just spotted him out. There goes Limit. Falcons out in 5th spot. And Expand claims their 2nd point. But now conflict is inevitable. They just saw Heavy and now they have to fight.
And this is what you got to respect about Expand. The quickness in terms of fixing their maneuvering towards this final circle. Silent indeed. They're not the most lethal team out there, but getting into the final circle should be able to give them quite a decent number of placement points. Look at those FGLs straight towards the glue walls, pushing Team Flash back, but of course chipping away at their health as well. Those deep freezes taking away those crucial points from them, forcing them to get those medkits done in, and Virtus Pro taking advantage of all of the chaos caused by the blue on top of everything else. X-Posy hitting shot after shot after shot. That SVD is lethal.
And it opens up opportunities for Expand to spoil the party. We see Luki takes out Boonjame. And now, Virtus Pro is going to be slowed down a little bit. Vowls again. He delivers. So now VP puts themselves in the crossfire. Despite being the team that made life impossible for Team Flash, now VP gets a taste of their own medicine. Wiped out under the collective efforts of Heavy and Expand. Now Expand has a chance. Heavy just brought one of the members back up, but they need time. Expand just needs to start landing shots.
Wonderful Riptide Rhythm, forcing Alan back. He's the AWM player, and that miss is going to cost him big time, but the second connection onto Waltz is perfect. And everybody piling on onto Alan, but Alan runs straight at that with the M590. Big mistake, and Don't Cry hops on in, seeing Alan's mistake to back up his team member. Expand loses 1 player. Waltz is still on his feet, trying to turn things around. The Trogon gets it, too fast, Mag 7, but he doesn't get past Don't Cry. And it's Bui, the final survivor, still has enough life, but Luki, the MVP, could not get it. Don't Cry with a sliver of health, unbelievably surviving the final battle up against Expand.
Oh man, that was about to be clutch of the century for Luki. He went on a 1v3, almost a 1v4 endeavor, and it all came to a halt where Don't Cry stood back up at the last minute. This man played dead, only to win the round for Heavy. But Expand put out a heck of a fight. Luki was pretty late because he couldn't find the angle to support from that range, so he had to run all the way into close range while the rest of Expand held the fort and still almost win the round. Commendable effort from Expand, but Heavy able to edge out at the very, very last second.
Yeah, unbelievable that Alan chose to run at his opponents and still was able to stand on his feet. He had the Antonio, he had the Shani, he had the Ford. He was able to top his HP right back up as he started receiving these shots, but there were barely any shots connecting onto Alan. That was an unsuspecting move. The last thing that you expect a sniper to do.
It's very tough, and sometimes it's not even them getting intentionally targeted by other teams, right? It's just multiple factors that come together. We saw that with EVOS. They got, 80 points at EWC by round 5, and it took them another 5 rounds to finally win the championship. So at the end of the day, I think for teams like BRU, another factor is also back then you could just walk out there with Vector Akimbo or maybe a Trogon and just run everyone down. You grab their resources and you snowball into a win. But right now, everyone is as good as you, or even close to being as good as you. So you can't 1v4 anymore. There's no longer every member on BRU is their own army. They are just an individual right now.
And the game is very balanced as well. You've got these guns that can very easily overpower, the other weapons in the right situation. So you got to have the right conditions out there in these battles, and you can't have everything going your way each and every single moment out there in these games. But Expand, getting that final circle, being prevented from touching the Booyah in game number 1. Obviously, we are expecting a lot from the Malaysian squad.
Wait, what is this?
I changed my mind. I want a piece of you.
So they're backtracking to take this fight against Kagendra. Saifa clearly calling for help. Doesn't really have a weapon to work with. It's off screen. And they take off. What? Oh, Kagendra took off. Okay, so AGL turns back. Kagendra takes the zipline and runs away. BTR, meanwhile, lost some of their members. On Fire also actually going for the chase. Let's see if they can find BTR at Graveyard. They should find Koja, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and Koja, oh my goodness. 3 players lost very early game here. Bigatron, restructuring of their squad hasn't been doing them a lot of favors as of now. A good jump pad use to get out of this sticky situation at Bullseye and Falcons. Well, actually going for the hunt. Pina looking for another point, but on Fire, found by Dudes. And Pina changing his mind at the very final second.
So at the end of the day, BTR barely survives because I think that takeout would have ended BTR's run.
Yeah.
And it would have been pretty. This last round they didn't get to play much either. Team Flash getting Shipyard completely uncontested. Oh, here comes BRU. On to Pochinok. A very unorthodox rotation. Usually they will stick by peak a lot longer, so Magna not expecting this intervention. Get high easily, he just runs down the glue wall and runs down Iive as well.
Yeah, valiantly breaking down those walls and had the right gun for the occasion. Triple pump and 1 extra point in the bag here for Buriram. Once again, a very lucky start for Buriram, finding these strays out there. They're not really on the hunt. Except for that previous game where they decided, okay, you know what? GOW, now's your time. I don't know who made that call, but that was hilarious.
I have a feeling it's probably Captain Jonah. Good chance it could be him. And BRU have a lot to live up to, this season after Get High making a declaration that the Kings are back. You have to be able to back up those claims, even though he said they're doing a show match. There were still cash prizes at stakes, and there was still a live crowd watching after they 4-0 Falcon. So either way, BRU have plenty of time to make good on that promise.
Expand needs to find some sort of a lifeline here as GOW runs at them. Luffy tries to get away and actually succeeds. Surprisingly, GOW didn't get those hits in, but Bigatron eliminated so early once again. Luki too fast. Luffy all in trouble. I believe the players are on their tails for sure. Magna has been able to survive for a decent amount of time now, but out in the open, just one glue wall between them and the rest of the Buriram players. Jonah getting into position as well, but Get High and Wasana not giving him the chance. Before he can park his car, they finished off those boys.
Yeah, that fight was impossible to begin with. It's a valiant effort, but they were not in a good position to fight. Their glue walls not enough. There were so many explosions. Magna should still be able to, continue playing this round. They did have one of the members being marked by BRU, but they did spread out, so someone else could still go for the revive. AGAL now against Heavy, and Dew is in the front line all alone, and he's running uphill. So Don't Cry finds an easy takedown.
Yep, just one mistake there, kind of pulling away too far from the rest of his team members. Although he is a sharpshooter in that situation, panic definitely kicked in, and Heavy just had the right angles on him. It's kind of pulling the 2-2 split and having a decent takedown. Should slow down the rest of the players here on the side of AGL. They do have the assault bunker to work around with, so weapons, not a big problem for them to acquire here. Heavy, on the other hand, has got the right guns. VSK, the M590, they want to fight, and they're dropping right on in. And Allen gets the knockdown. Cypher desperately trying to evade all of these shots, but unfortunately for them, Heavy was ready for a big fight.
Yeah, and it all happened so fast. Heavy, the call was so precise. The moment their members landed, Allen instantly popped someone from AGAL. GOW, here to pop some members from Expand too fast, did not stand a chance out in the wild.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the rest of Expand not really geared up for this fight, but they are forced to take it regardless. You have Rip watching from the high ground. Here comes the rush in. Hans getting backstabbed by Luffy, and Vox actually taking out Akoi. So suddenly GOW finds out that they're not exactly in the clear just yet. Heavy also getting cleaned up by Kagendra, who helped them wipe out AGAL's member early on.
Yeah, great defensive play coming through from Expand, quickly retreating into the warehouse, had a decent amount of defense on their side, and obviously the 2v1, a little bit of a misplay coming through from GOW, capitalized instantly from the Expand players, and this is what Malaysia needs to do time and time again, play their defense as the best offense up against these other teams. In a clear 4v4 fight, they have been struggling thus far, but the way they've been able to really adjust their approaches has changed the way those points are landing in those pockets. And what a shutdown here. Jonah, AC80, back up by Wasada as well, but clearly outnumbering the player AGAL with the revival coming on through. But Buriram, 5 eliminations already. Yet another aggressive start from them.
Once more, it's delivered onto the lap on the silver platter. BRU this time should learn from the lesson and not, get way over their head. VP, on the other hand, who finds a freebie here onto Barros. AGL is going to have a hard time recovering after the encounter earlier on. It felt like a weird call against Heavy, but also Heavy making some very good decisions that put AGL in the spot. So VP claims the second point, and the struggle for AGL continues.
Expand still dealing with GOW here. Waltz, beautiful pickup with the time turner. And they're turning the tables onto GOW. This is what you want to see if you are a Malaysian fan. And Expand putting up a strong fight up against GOW, who miscalculated their approach. They were hunting down Expand the whole game throughout this whole Bermuda.
Yeah, I think GOW needs to learn at some point to start cutting your losses, right? Whatever happened at the warehouse was already kind of a red flag. They didn't expect backup to come in so fast from Expand. They made a poor judgment, and now they're going to lose more than that. Rip trying to run away. That glue wall actually blocked out Luki's line of sight, so gonna talk about that doing post-mortem, but nothing much was lost in the process. They can still hunt down Rip, albeit taking a bit more time. Backup is still being called in by GOW. They are willing to take this.
I mean, they're just going all out here. I don't doubt GOW should be able to turn the tables on Expand, but not with the numbers that they have right now. Rip up on top of the roof, just using those tires to quickly reposition. Has the AC80, can punish very quickly. But Expand has got the numbers on their side. And all they need is one decent opportunity. But they need to wrap this up quick now, because the rest of the revive players from the side of GOW slowly inching towards them.
Yeah, this is these drawn out fights. The later the game goes, the more dangerous it becomes. I think Expand still has some time to work with. Depends on who makes the call, right? Are we going to actively seek out that one player? If not, then what's going to be the next plans? Because GOW definitely have lesser resources. I think if they could take down, I believe it's Dian, they take away whatever remainder resource that they have. But speaking of the devil, Dian actually took out too fast, and Wasana gets a mid-air catch somehow. Easy for Rap goes down. Kagendra wants to back him up, but it is very, very dangerous, and BRU about to collapse.
Yeah, big opportunity for Buriram here, though. 4 points. Jonah, great nade out of nowhere. And that God nade takes Raph down. Jonah going in for the finisher as well. Wasana for the backup, pincering in the player from the side of Kagendra. Time turner on, get high, getting involved with 2 players at the same time. But Captain Jonah is not here to play around. Gets the solid eliminations, picks up get high. A solid game for the captain this time around at Bermuda.
Yeah, Captain Jonah with 7 out of 12 eliminations. He is definitely not playing around. So Expand has left the compound. And GOW not safe just yet. In fact, they're visited by AGAL, who were also battered by a separate Vietnamese team, so I believe was also in the vicinity. Heavy Allen somehow ending up there. He's all alone. GOW hunting for him, and if Rip finds him, it's gonna put Heavy in a very awkward position. Where is the rest of the team?
Yeah, this is just a bad time now for GOW. AGAL in the vicinity as well. And then beautiful knockdown with that Valiant dash. And that Oscar is a menace as expected in the current meta. And Glue Wall Melter, Team SR, courtesy of the squad, and Deanne M590 up on top of the roof. And AGAL will not be able to get a freebie there as Team SR gets backstabbed by Akoi.
They just don't have information. They have no idea where the rest of GOW are at, and the element of surprise good enough for GOW. And BRU getting the 13th point this round. And we just saw a member of Heavy running up north, but he's going to run straight into VP, and Mufasa about to get dropped off a cliff if VP sees him, and I think they do. So Mufasa, you gotta choose either give the 14 point to BRU, which seems to be the case. Get High will claim that.
Kill.
Now he filters VP into BRU.
I mean, these guys are insane at this point of time. Captain Jonah has got enough coins to revive the whole squad if anything does go south. 2 times over. Riptide Rhythm. Jans backs away, uses the boulder to his advantage, and Ma'al doesn't get a freebie off of that. And MEC actually getting a straggler off of AGAL. Cypher nailed down by Ramiel, the Filipino import, the only Filipino player that we've got in the league still playing.
Yeah, he definitely is one of the legacy players. The only standing one, like you said. And he wasn't the first batch. I think it was like Gen 2. And then at the exact same time qualified to the first ever World Series with a full Filipino squad in 2022. Now looking to do it with Magna, which is a different approach because I was wondering where he went at one point. But Falcons against Team Flash is a bit interesting one. Team SR, when hear this happening, some bombardment on top of the roof. Team Flash taking some chip damage, and Falcons playing with the distance, and a perfectly lobbed nade by Kiroro takes out ABCD. And Team Flash now in a bit of a shambles. Someone dropped onto the ground floor, and On Fire just runs in. Death will face death indeed. Falcons taking control.
Yeah, Pina is just taking all of these unnecessary risks. He almost got taken down there. Thankfully, On Fire was in the right place, right time for that backup. Gets another one for the squad. Almost knocked down to the ground as well. Wang M, jump pad, gets out of the sticky situation. Unbelievably so. Team Flash still surviving.
Somehow, but maybe not for long. I think RQ just saw them. Jans, he heard all the commotion. He's thrown down by the power tower. And Falcons gets the 7th point. The circle closes in again. Falcons have a clear way into the safe zone. Some stragglers along the way. You know, one from Magna, one from Flash. AGAL also running inwards. And Falcons, they did sustain some damage. BRU somehow. 16 points already. I think they wiped out 2 players from VP.
Uh-oh.
Oh, did they revive themselves? Somehow they got 2 extra points. Bunchim with around the corner, finds Wasana, but a good barricade. Not able to save Wasana, sadly. Bunchim still claims the elimination.
Uh-oh. Well, Buriram, I think they've used up all of their luck already, but Captain Jonah has got, once again, enough coins to revive the squad. Well, he had enough coins to revive the squad. Now he doesn't. 500 coins in his pocket. And 590 desperately trying to hold on. But RRQ with the final nail on the coffin of Buriram. Out in 9th. Holy mama. But enough eliminations, of course, to keep them floating for the top spot by the end of the day. A exciting game played by Buriram, but a premature end here at Bermuda.
All credits to Virtus Pro. That pre-fire around the corner by Bunjin really caught BRU by surprise. Because I don't think BRU used any utility to figure out where exactly VP are. They just turned the corner blindly. And Yaz actually finding a free one onto Huang. So that will be a free point for MEC. Pina gets knocked down from Abai. RQ in a powerful spot to work with. There's so many stragglers in the final circle. Only 2 teams have the full squad here, AJ. Only RQ and VP have the entire team left in the lobby.
And they kind of share a decent compound, at least within arm's length of each other. Virtus Pro has got that high ground as well to spot out RRQ, but the circle's going to start closing in 15 more seconds. Virtus Pro needs to move, and Real Estate is running out in this next safe zone. AG Team SR, Pina doesn't actually peek around the corner, so Team SR is going to survive a little bit longer here.
See how long does it take once that glue one drops. Does no one see Team SR? If RQ could see Falcons, they definitely have a chance to see the AGAL survivor. Speaking of RQ, they are busy dealing with VP. Whoever wins this match have a good chance of winning the whole thing. Double glue wall melt is getting thrown out. VP instantly decides to fall back and wrap around peak. Maybe if they come in from the north, they could find Expand, the straggler of Expand and Heavy. take them out, and then take control of the circle.
Yeah, Virtus Pro desperately needs these points. They currently rank 17th out of 18 teams in the league, so finding the final circle is a great big miracle for them! As I speak of them, RRQ looking to snuff them out, and they do that phenomenally well with Maal. And the final shot out of the AWM. Bui gets taken down as well. Heavy's out. RRQ cleaning up house. You all cheered for Buriram. Now you cheer for RRQ, they say.
And Team SR, I think his luck is running out of buy. He's not going to take any prisoners. You see a glue wall that doesn't belong to the team, you take it down. And this should be a free point for him. Peanut takes advantage of that, takes out Deuce in the process. Limit breathing by a sliver of time. Abai turns the corner, finds an easy one with the Trogon, and Falcons now down to just Peanut. RRQ themselves have 16 eliminations, and Team SR still alive. Now finally takes the fight to RRQ, faces his demise like a true warrior, and Peanut now joins in for 1v2. It's 18 dead and Abai trying to hold the fort, wants to drop down to cut off that angle. As long as RRQ play together and finds a double up, they will win this round.
A 30-pointer Bermuda awaiting RRQ with this next engagement, and Pina, the one player that has made too many mistakes thus far, looking for the recovery, but Valiant Dash breaking down his defense as a double Valiant Dash just for the fun of it, and RRQ easy booyah as they once again maintain their dominance on this map.
A fat 30 points on map number 2. And RRQ once more has proven that they are one of the top contenders on Bermuda. Even towards the end of VWC 2025, they were ranked as the 4th best team on this map. But right now in the fall season, they are definitely the best team after this map.
Yeah, no doubt at all. And of course, Falcons kind of doing better than them initially with the 2 booyahs on their side. And this is the equalizer booyah for RRQ. But as far as the average points are concerned, obviously RRQ now has taken the spot at the very top. A total of 71 points collected on this map for this Indonesian squad that is looking to not just dominate, but annihilate the competition.
Oh yeah, again, RRQ, just fantastic stuff, right? They were dormant for a majority of the game, or at least we didn't get to see them for majority of the game. And once we did, they were already... Still struggling a little bit, but I think Red Bull, a good can of Red Bull can change it, right? With Red Bull Zinc and Vitamin from Thailand, supplemented with Zinc, B3 and B6, featuring a mild taste that helps players stay highly focused and seize every opportunity to achieve booyah, stylish booyah victories. And they've been with us for spring, now they're here with us for fall season. I'm loving the flavors that Red Bull has.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, you know, that extra bit of focus can definitely help. Maybe that's exactly what Falcons needs for this booyah on this next map. They already dominated technically through points, but they haven't been able to find that booyah just yet on this particular day of play. I am pretty sure they are going to be able to do that. But, you know, although I say all of the things, yes, they do have the most number of points, but they don't have a single booyah on Solara yet in the competition. I hope that does not continue to be the case for Falcons, because something needs to happen here so that they can get that confidence back and make sure RRQ does not overtake them on that number 1 spot by the end of the day.
And hopefully so. I mean, for Falcons, they have plenty of time to, I mean, they could go out 12th in this round and the next round and still be in first place. But I don't expect Falcons to slow down at all. At least they haven't been since the start of the league. So they head into Solara, one of their best maps again, and still not the first on their list, which is a pretty scary thought to have. And Falcons dropping straight down to Riders Club, and Heavy is also doing the same.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Heavy, but of course, anything can happen in a 50-50 early gunfight here. Riders Club, I wouldn't say it's the best spot to take a drop in. But obviously, Falcons wanting to farm those points very early. And SVD on fire. Bui has got the cord. Wrong gun for the occasion. Double revolver 4 on fire. But Mufasa out of nowhere with the Mag 7. Heavy turning the tables. One more. Valiant Dash breaking down the defenses. P90 don't try to turn around. Pulls the 180. And claims the 4 points. Best on this map. No longer is Heavy.
Best on this map on Heavy's foot. That the Cassie saved Don't Crash Live. You saw his health bar come back up at the last second. Oh man, that was incredibly unfortunate for Falcons. But that's how the cookie crumbles. Sometimes you take these dice rolls and you lose out. I mean, I was kind of joking when I said that Falcons could finish 12th and still be in first place. I didn't expect it to actually happen. Now, they did finish 12th. They will still be in first place. But it does give them a good wake-up call to remember where Heavy drops next time on Solara.
Obviously, RRQ is not going to get 65 points in one game, but it sure as hell is a great opportunity to catch up with Falcons. My goodness, they dropped the ball big time there, looking for the early drop, and they got exactly what they were looking for. It's not the right guns that they were hoping for. Heavy, on the other hand, slowly circling away from danger. They've got the numbers on their side, needing to buy Allen back. Not going to be a problem here with the vending machine at the Riders Club. And Bigatron not looking for trouble just yet.
I think Bigatron, they are pretty comfortable where they are. BRU might find a freebie. I think Moshi sent something. Kagendra on the horizon. Plenty of info given over to Moshi. I think CT7 coming to line of sight. Okay, never mind. The rest of BRU are already on the hunt.
Buriram, are they going to do it again? But of course, hunting down Kagendra is not really a difficult task for Buriram here. They're not all in the exact same compound, and this gives the numbers advantage to Kagendra, at least for the time being. And the slide rails are going to make it very easy for the reposition out of the Buriram players. From up top, Jonah, AC-80 in hand. Okay, it gives away that information instantly. But of course, the jump pad is going to get Kagendra to a better spot. Wasana fishing out a CT7 out of the air.
Oh my god, that's probably one of the longest shots that we have seen. CT7 still no chance there. I think Kagendra would call for retreat. Dude's getting spotted too. Pretty much isolated. It should be a free pickoff for Death. No launch pad, nothing to work with. RQ somehow Dude survives.
Let's see if they can pull this a little bit further. My goodness, so early that the one team to dominate Solara so far has been eliminated. So this has opened up the game for the rest of the players. And Don't Cry finding a freebie out there. Koja running straight at them, and an easy elimination following instantaneously. Bigatron out of the situation instantly, and gonna try to play outside this next safe zone for a little bit.
Beta playing it slow and steady. They do have a vending machine to play with, so that revive is going to come true. Or if they want to take the free option, there is always a revival point, which can't even remember the last time that was used. But Team Flash also playing it incredibly calm and safe. They spotted out the RQ member. They didn't take out dudes, but they are willing to fall back, make their rotation. They could end up where GOW is at, and I think they already have seen Dian, who just was not prepared for this. So an easy pickup for ABCD.
That's exactly how Flash wants this engagement to go, and compound's all clear for them for the loot, so nothing much to worry about so far. Coin machines everywhere. Just picking up a decent amount of loot alongside those coins. Make sure they are one of the stronger teams on this map. And as Virtus Pro rotates around, bumping into Magna here just outside of PV Towers is going to be a huge possibility. And obviously this team, in fact, both these teams need those points. But Virtus Pro has just been a little bit more shiny when it comes to those achievements in battle.
Yeah, they have. I mean, some accolades for all of them, right? Maybe Bunjame not so much, but the rest of VP, sometimes you forget that they are the first ever team to secure the very first slot to EWC last year from the Mobile Masters in Sao Paulo, besting teams like BRU, RQ, and even Fluxo, who came in second. They had to play their regular league to even make it through. And getting a free pickup out of the skies, ABCD. That's free fall. Instantly splats. Sometimes I am surprised by the fact that you actually don't perish instantly when you hit the ground. But still, Heavy, 7 eliminations.
How are they going to get out of this situation? Flash. And instantly out of there. Zom, nothing much he can do against the firing squad, but death out of nowhere. MP5 straight to the head, buys himself a little bit more time, and the jump pad gets him to safety.
Triple
and it
kill.
looks like Heavy's not going to be able to hunt down these players just yet, and Flash just made one of the smoothest escapes from that engagement without losing too much.
Yeah. No BRU straight into expand. So get high, makes the first move. The rest of BRU, they're not flying in first. So expand gets to fall back. It's a breathing room that is obtained. Wasana coming in from a different angle behind the boulder. And now here comes the rest of BRU. Expand goes on the aggressive. They take out Get High. Actually, not a bad choice, but Moshi backs them up just in time. And Get High, in a 1v2 scenario, wins out without dropping a single digit of health. And that's how monstrous these guys can be. Expand instantly loses the fight.
Yeah, make that a 1v3, man. Waltz with the Valiant Dash wasn't so valiant with the way he used it. Way too far away from the glue wall. Broke nothing except his ankle as he rushed towards Get High. And Get High helped him out of the lobby with the M590 instantly. And obviously the positioning from the rest of the players on the side of Buriram just made that such an easy takedown on the Expand players. A little bit of a misplay, but Luki is keeping the squad alive. Bringing Luffy back in, but only had enough money for one revival here. Buriram's potentially going to say, we'll fish you out another day?
Yeah,
as they back away from him.
And let them go. Don't need to over-aggress. Because it hasn't panned out well so far. I would commend Expand though. They did make a pretty... I think the decision wasn't all that bad. If it wasn't for BRU being the opponent, I think Expand would have a much better chance, right? They saw Moshi fly in, and there was a delay between Moshi and Wasana, Get High fly in, and there's a delay between Get High and the rest of BRU. Them taking the fight to Get High straight and doubling up was actually a good choice. It's just that it was BRU. GOW finding ABCD again. He just got brought back and he goes down once more.
2 eliminations, and GOW is having a slightly better match this time round. A decent start for sure. Not their best map. And they usually do struggle with the positioning on this map, so they really have to focus on those placement points. Eliminations can come tagging on later. GOW is a team that can get the job done once they get deep enough into the circle. Currently sitting on the 5th spot on the overall leaderboard, and I have to say the placement points are their biggest weakness as of this point.
Yeah, for sure. Struggling to survive. We've seen teams that are not that good in gunfights, but they make it to the top 3, top 4 spots, and it can be enough to get you through the finishing line into at least the top 12. Instant pickup after the knockdown by Moshi. BRU taking this high ground Archway. See what's BTR's plan. They're getting corralled by BRU. BTR, they got to formulate a plan to start fighting or escape. They take the launch pad. They do get out. 2 consecutive shots onto Deeks, and somehow he survives. They make it into a building, so BTR stays safe for now.
Yeah, Bigatron has got a potential here to hunt down the Expand players as they slowly sneak into their compound, and unfortunately we will lose another team as well, and it will be the Malaysian squad of Magna. Kagendra up against Virtus Pro in a CQC, and all those nades raining down on the Virtus Pro players unsuspectingly. X-Posy says he wants nothing to do with it, but he will get hunted down. VSK from afar, CT7 final nail on the coffin. Virtus Pro again will falter early.
Unbelievable. Kagendra once more, they beat one of the few top contenders. VP just not able to deal a significant amount of blows. I would expect maybe some members being traded, but Kagendra won that cleanly. BRU, after the early attempt to hunt BTR, once more slows down at Archway. 10 minutes into the game, they can still make a clean rotation without any contentions. They can choose to not take the guardrail, and just walk towards a destination. I think that would be a smarter choice. You delay the rotation, but you put yourself in a safer spot.
Where can they find some points from here? GOW looking for the rotation into this next circle is going to be a little challenging, as Heavy is the perfect spot to gatekeep them. Alan, oh, beautiful landing on that time turner. But RRQ joining the fight as well, and this one is all of a sudden complicated once again for GOW. We'll have to catch up with that fight in a little bit as AGAL tries to sustain some gunfire from the side of Buriram, and it seems like it is going well for them as of this point of time. RRQ sneaking on into a compound, and the container used really well here by GOW. Steffi popped as well, so the boys from the side of RRQ don't get to pelt those nades at them just yet.
And RQ realized that there's more than just GOW in the vicinity, so they're playing it safe, slow and steady. And now Heavy confirmed their presence. And RQ, they can just let this play out. GOW wants to spoil the party and make something happen, but Deuce with the takedown to DN. He's the guy with the nade in his hands. So RQ have just saved themselves from actual disaster. As Expand also comes in for a bit of that Vulture action. They take out Hans and GOW becomes the victim.
And Expand now can actually punish Heavy by taking Bui out of the equation as well. He was the insurance policy left behind to survive for the rest of the team in case anything does go south. But Expand, distracted with a gunfight here up against RRQ now, will allow Heavy to sneak away. Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses of Buriram as AGAL tries to fight them off. Wasana sneaking around the right-hand corner looking for the shot, but decent enough glue wall set up by AGAL allows them to rotate away to safety.
Early on, I think one of the BRU players actually stepped on a trip mine. So that did buy AGAL some time. You see where Dew is perched up in as well. It's a decent compound to work with. With this angle, if AGAL can take down these blue walls, it gives Dew a good chance to take some shots, and that's why BRU are running inwards. And now they cut themselves from line of sight. AGAL goes temporarily blind, and if Dew goes down, suddenly the tides will turn. And Dew, looking to escape, drops the glue wall, takes the grind rail, and the positions completely switch, and Moshi finds an opportune moment. Cypher goes down, gets picked back up at Moshi, make sure he stays down again.
This is the prelude to Pandemonium. 8 more squads left in here, and the next circle has got not enough real estate to contain all of them. Buriram looking to finish AGAL, but it is the opposite that happens from afar. Dew will get a double and a triple, finally knocked down to the ground. Moshi, the final survivor. Dew battling against the blue. Moshi looking for revenge, needs one shot, and he gets exactly that. But the Horizon line on Dew should be able to pick himself right back up, but the damage from the blue is a little bit too much for Dew to handle at this point of time, and this has to be a negative on his end, but back up on his feet he is. And the battle between snipers, AGAL and Buriram, who gets to walk away with this unscathed?
The odds definitely favor Moshi, but if Dew can pull out a miracle, it will be quite a moment. We'll check back in a little bit. RQ in quite a rough spot. Heavy gets knocked out of the competition in A spot. RQ still somehow holding on. There's a retired Dew. He really needs to make it out of this. Gets himself back. Holding on. Lands a shot onto Moshi. Moshi might just go down to the blue. He takes the fight, and Dew outlasts Moshi.
What a play by Dew! And he had everything in his pocket to make that work. The right medkit on top of everything else. Both of them fighting the clip on each other. On the verge of death, Dew still managed to max out his health, get the connection with the sniper, and the CQC between the two snipers. My goodness, what a beautiful battle, and AGAL hangs on. Buriram again falters before they can fight for the booyah. RRQ up against Kagendra. The battle between the Indonesians could be spoiled here by Vietnam, but Zom way too low on his HP. Rushing, looking for the circle, but the blue will find him as well.
Ras from behind actually takes out Deuce. They lost track of where the Kagendra players are at. Ma'au against Ras definitely has more health than the newcomers, but Kagendra wins in numbers. Easy for Dead is there to back him up, so Ma'au needs to start slowly backing off. Look at this final circle. BTR, we said that they are one of the dominators on Solara, at least based off of the Esports World Cup. They're the only team with the full squad left. RQ about to meet their demise in the hands of Kagendra.
I mean, 3 Indonesian squads in this final circle of Solara shows you exactly who's looking to find dominance here. And Raz, it's a double team, and Ma'al just couldn't get away in time. But Dew still alive. Not for long. Koja finding him. Trogon in hand. Dew looking for the jump shot. Will miss one with the backup. And Begatron just purely with the numbers just running down all the rest of the teams here. 4v2 now. to shut down their brothers. Kagendra Kyong outside the circle. Riptide Rhythm will not be popped just yet, and Juan doesn't even need it. Kagendra never stood a chance up against Bigatron, who shows up strong once again on Solara.
And that is the recovery that we need from Bigatron. Map 1, poor start. Map 2, even worse, they finished in 12th spot without even being able to lift a finger. But when we come to Solara, that's where the pressure is on, and BTR delivered it in the best way possible, taking the Booyah for themselves. 13 eliminations, so there's 25 points, and probably the first big cash out that they had today, but very much needed for their race into the top 12 spot.
But again, the best highlight of this game was the sniper battle between Dew and Moshi. And let us set the record straight here. It was Moshi that initially won that battle of snipers by knocking down Dew. But this is why you always have to invest in the Horizon line. Dew picking himself back up, getting in there, had the super med. And yeah, you can't hold as many Supermans now, but the Supermans are so important in the final battle sequence. And he had all of the right items to survive long enough, as well as the skill to play around, to flirt around with the blue and get that damage, top his health back up, and still find the revenge shot on Moshi. That was definitely the highlight, potentially the highlight of the day, Yaski.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that Dew reminds everyone that he also was one of the few players that was able to, really challenge Moshi back then, right? Gave Moshi and the rest of BRU a run for their money at one point on that world stage. The only difference is that Moshi has multiple trophies. Dew is still searching for his first.
Why you gotta do him dirty like that, bro? Why?
Hey, he's finals MVP material, right? I think the fans will agree. You ask any Dew fans, they will tell you that he has been done wrong by every single team he's played out there. But again, it's a long journey for this man. But it's good to see that he hasn't lost his touch.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, he doesn't have that many trophies behind him. Moshi is a tad bit more decorated. I mean, you can tell by the diamond studs on his ears, and they've got everything to flex, right? The whole squad of Buriram. But in this particular season, this is where we see the struggles coming out a little bit from Buriram. They can't keep up with this brand new formatting of Champion Rush. They're trying new things out there. And all of this experimenting is preventing them from picking up those booyahs that they used to find so easily in the past. So I'm actually looking for the days where they go back to picking up these booyahs, because whatever they're trying, I am not seeing what they're heading towards, because there's just no consistency in terms of what they are kind of approaching here. RRQ, on the other hand, they've perfected all of these. I mean, they're picking up the points, eliminations are easy, finding these booyahs are fairly easy as well. Falcons is on that same level of play, so Buriram really needs to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, BRU, right? They was like last year, they were the only team that was able to get 5 out of 6 booyahs in a single day. No team has been able to clean sweep a play day just yet. But if we are talking about the current state of BRU, I don't think we're going to see that clean sweep anytime soon. And contrary to what you want from BRU, I think this is good, right? I think it's pretty healthy that every other team is stepping up. We no longer have BRU just sweeping every single team. It's not fun to have the group stage end by the end of week 1. At least now we know that our group stage is a lot more competitive. Maybe aside from like the top 3 teams, but at least it's, we have 3 teams instead of just 1.
I mean, this is the lobby. The whole world of Free Fire loves to tune into, because of the kind of quality that we have here at FFWS SEA, and very specifically in groups A and C. So this is definitely the highlight of the tournament for them. But unfortunately, you're going to have a little bit of a variance, because the end of phase 1 is coming up very quick. And even today, we are already at the halfway point. 3 matches have already concluded, and 3 more, and we conclude day number 5. Tomorrow is the last day for phase 1, and then we start looking for the teams that will have the qualifiers to our grand finals. And once again, we're going to have some teams on a pretty long holiday by the looks of it. As usual, the first team to qualify chills the longest.
Yeah, but it's not exactly the best thing, right? So, we saw the last team to qualify won the whole thing. That was Onyx Olympus. And out of 18 teams, only 1 team will be forced to play wait until the last chance qualifiers, and that's only if you finish last. And the team in that spot right now is Magna, and it's not even close. And that's and that is the crazy part. It is insane that at this point of time, Magna has 41 points out of 14 rounds.
Yeah, they're 82 points away from Virtus.pro, who's in the 17th spot. That's like, yeah, there's just no way they're going to be able to catch up with Virtus.pro anytime soon. 137 points away from the 12th spot, which AGAL holds on to. I think it's safe to say Magna is going to struggle, but it's not the end for Magna just yet because of the brand new tournament format that we have. If they can survive until week 6 or by some miracle within weeks 3, 4, and 5, get that number 1 spot, they find the qualifier to the grand finals, and they will leave everybody shocked once again. But of course, one of the players that are no strangers to shocking the world, Koja, 5 eliminations, 4 knockdowns, 1,942 on the damage, and he rocks quite the active and passive skill combination here, the Aurora Vision with the Coda, giving him the perfect vision to know exactly where to lob all of these grenades.
He is one of the few players that really shine, at EWC when that time when they were playing under, well, it's still technically Vitality, right? It's BTR by Vitality, but at that point of time, no one really knew where the team stands, and the Koja was one of the few players that really stepped up, and then he rallied the rest of the team, and that was why when they missed that trophy because they lost one final fight with Esports, he was also the one on cam that was crying on stage because they were that close to the trophy. And this is going to be a long road, right? Because they ended up going for a bit of a roster shuffle, which I personally did not expect to happen. And now they're struggling a little bit in the league, but at least they're still in the top 12.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I didn't expect Faiz and Azrael to get taken out of the squad. Juan and Rin haven't been the biggest of game changers. We have barely seen Rin play in the tournament. Juan, on the other hand, has managed to prove himself this time around. 3 eliminations, 3 assists, and has got quite the setup going on as the backup player for the squad. He's the one in charge of the support role. Unlike Dix, he's the one flying on in, popping that chrono, especially when they land on all of those jump pad plays. He has got the J-Beebs on himself as well for a little bit of extra backup on the defense. He's got the Tiva for that instant pickup as well. So he has been able to serve the squad well in terms of the support role and pick up those elimination points. But it's not a frequent thing out of Bigatron. But fingers crossed, this is their start to their rise back up to the top. 25 points, very decent. But this was just all out an Indonesian map this time round.
Oh, 100%. Even Kagendra, they wiped out VP earlier on, and then we saw them go on a tear, ending the match with 22 points. Me argue, not too shabby. 14 is pretty commendable, but they did have a harder round. I think with the momentum that Kagendra got for themselves, it was no surprise that when they got into the final circle, and as the one out of the 2 teams with the full squad remaining, the job became a whole lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt at all, the job is going to get a whole lot harder for the teams who are down at the bottom, who are looking to find the qualifier into the top 12, because we're running out of time. Only 2 weeks, and in the 2 weeks, basically, you only have 4 days of play, and that's not a lot at all. And as you can see, Kagendra is one of those teams that are doing fairly well, climbing the leaderboard, and this is a definite, improvement as opposed to the first week of play that they've had, and they're not too far away from catching up with AGAL, but of course, there's still quite a bit of distance left between them as well as that 12th spot. Onyx, on the other hand, not playing today. They are the champions of FFWS SEA Spring. Again, finding it a little difficult to sneak themselves into the top 12.
If I remember correctly, Onyx Olympus was, 17th spot by the end of Phase 1 in spring, and then they had to wait until the very last moment to be the last team that plays Phase 2, qualifies, and then win the finals. It is a crazy thing to think about, that they are still struggling right now, but hey, they are the benchmark, right? So we'll see if Onyx can at least qualify directly from top 12 rather than having to wait again.
If Onyx does it back-to-back, I'll be at a loss for words. But, it's looking like it's going to be pretty difficult for them to do that. There's a lot of elements that are involved in this, and luck will have to be a very big part of it in order for them to be crowned back-to-back champions for 2025. As for the rest of the teams, just consistency is going to be key for them to get there. But that being said, RRQ is one of the most consistent ones, but they haven't been able to win out any one of these champion rushes just yet. They came really, really close, but once again beaten by Eivos, who seems to be struggling this time round. But of course, we've got the interview coming up for you guys this time round, and after that, a quick short break. Husky and I will join you guys in a little bit right after that.
All right, thank you, Caster. Survivors, we're halfway through today's match day. 3 games down, 3 more to go. And as we all know, Indonesia has successfully secured 2 booyahs from RRQ Kazu and a Bigatron by Fatality. And today I'm here with Mal from RRQ Kazu. What's up, Mal? Apa kabar?
Alhamdulillah baik.
Alhamdulillah baik. Nggak kerasa nih, kita udah setengah perjalanan di match day kelima ini, di mana dari 3 game, 2 diantaranya berhasil dibuyahkan oleh tim Indonesia. Salah satunya adalah RRQ. Aku mau ngobrol-ngobrol sedikit tentang persaingan di matchday kelima. Kalau menurut kamu, siapa tim yang bisa dibilang tampil baik banget hari ini dan menjadi salah satu yang patut diwaspadai? Who do you think is the best performing team today so far after we played about 3 games?
Mungkin Iive karena poinnya lagi bagus banget, dia lagi konsisten banget.
Heavy is definitely one of the toughest contender to beat and their point is up there. So it's a bit of a challenge for the Indonesian team to go against them. Kalau bicara soal tim Indonesia sendiri, selain RRQ Kazu pastinya yang kalau kita lihat kan cukup konsisten ya dari hari ke hari penampilan kalian. Tim Indonesia mana yang menurut kamu juga tampil luar biasa baik hari ini? Bigatron by Fatality. Kenapa tuh?
Walaupun tadi dia match 1 sama match 2 kurang bagus, semua dia di match 3 bisa ngebalikin sih.
Ooh, okay. So I asked him which of the Indonesian team that you think has been performing well other than RRQ Kazu, who has been pretty consistent throughout the competition. And his answer was Bigatron by Fatality. They managed to come back on the 3rd game and finally own the game and secure the booyah. And we are hoping to see more of the Indonesian team grabbing their booyahs with the last 3 games that is left today. Terakhir deh, last question for Maal. Apa yang mungkin, ada nggak sih kayak target tersendiri yang kamu berikan ke diri kamu memasuki pekan kedua ini? Karena seperti yang kita bahas di awal perjumpaan, ini adalah pekan-pekan penentuan.
Target buat diri sendiri mungkin lebih tenang lagi aja.
Okay. Aku tanya, I asked him, do you have any specific target that you set for yourself now that we're entering the 2nd week? And he said his target for himself is actually just to be a bit more calm, a bit more preserved and better. Hopefully we can see that on the remaining 3 games. Thank you so much, Ma'a. Congratulations on the booyah and good luck with the rest of the game. And now we're gonna have a bit of a break. Kita akan break dulu sejenak, Survivors. Jadi pastikan jangan kemana-mana karena kita masih punya 3 pertandingan lagi. Tetap di Free Fire World Series Southeast Asia 2025 Fall.
ข้อดีก็น่าเป็นผู้เล่นที่เสริมตัวมาแล้วทำให้ RRQ เก่งขึ้นครับก็ติดท็อปตลอดทุกรายการก็ถือว่าเล่นดีระดับหนึ่งครับผม
pasti ketenangan terus main yang superstar sama sekarang gua sering nge-gym. Kelebihannya Limit tuh bisa main sama sering degradasi aja.
สไนเปอร์แน่นอนว่าผมคิดว่าผมน่าจะเล่นได้ดีกว่าเพราะว่าเขาไม่ค่อยได้จับสไนด้วยแล้วก็น่าจะเปลี่ยนไปเล่นซัพพอร์ตแทนแล้วครับช่วง EWC ที่ผ่านมาก็วันพอยรัดครับก็ไปทับ RQ ครับเพราะว่าคะแนนเราตามไม่ทันครับพอจะ2ปุ๊บทับอีกรอบหนึ่งเขาก็หนีไปแต่เขาเกือบแชมป์นะเดี๋ยวไฟสุดท้ายคีน่าเอาให้ตัวฝันร้าย RQ เพื่อนกันนั่นแหละแต่ถ้าเกิดในเกมก็น่าจะเป็นเห่าฉลาม
Udah langsung main FF tuh masih degradasi.
สู้ๆนะครับเป็นกำลังใจให้ครับแต่ว่ารอบนี้มันจะไม่ใช่พีนะครับมันจะเป็นผมนี่แหละ
Oke,
family, the Yagami clan, once reigned supreme. Its legacy entwined with the eternal symbol of fire. But fire alone does not define its power. Beneath the radiant glow lay a secret, a shadow unseen by the eyes of the world. On the day when the flames of our clan were extinguished, my elder brother chose the path of silence, bearing the weight alone. But I swore to fight back. Why did you do this? The fire blazes with light, but the shadow fuels the fight.
Amaterasu.
It's time to strike and rise and continue to strike and rise at the Free Fire World Series Fall Season 2025 right here for Southeast Asia. You're with us week 2, day 2. It's Husky and the Pistachio AJ. We've got 3 more rounds to go, and the latest update is that Bigatron has recovered on their best map.
Well, let's see if they can keep this up, man, because before that it was a little bit of a tortured approach towards that final circle. But with Solara, and I mean the kind of the uncrowned kings of Solara, the unofficial ones at least, and they are right back when it matters. And this is the kind of adrenaline push that they need. But some of the teams that did get the adrenaline boost at the very start of the day haven't been really able to keep up their plays for the day, right? We kind of saw a lot of pressure from Heavy, and they've been able to give us the points that are required to stay somewhere at the top of today's dominance. But with 3 more games to go, they're kind of inching towards the bottom little by little, and this is something that needs to change if, of course, they want to continue climbing up this leaderboard.
Yeah, the gap isn't really too big, and thankfully for teams like Heavy, they have tomorrow left to play, right? So it will be a fair fight, you know, between them and AGAL, who both want to be in top 12. But for some teams, you know, like Kagendra, like Expand, time is running out, and there's a good chance that they don't make it by top 12 today. They are going to have to wait for their turn in phase number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we are looking at teams like RRQ as well, who has managed to grab a booyah so far today. A little bit of a stumbling block that they need to overcome is that final battle sequence towards that final circle. We also need to highlight Buriram, who have been horrible at finding the placements in these games so far. Out of 3 games, they only have 8 placement points. The only thing that's keeping them at the very top of the table alongside RRQ and Heavy is their very, very, very interesting way of finding these early eliminations. But they're crashing out just like how Flash did last week.
They are. And the funny thing, the weird thing for BRU is that it's not that they are doing poorly. In fact, even if they get dropped early, they still end the round with a lot of elimination points. It's just they can't seem to get into the final circle due to multiple reasons. Round 1 was them sort of, you know, getting a bit too overexcited. Round 2 was VP getting a drop on them. And round 3, they were just bested by, I believe it was AGAL. So BRU, you know, they're not doing the best in terms of standings, but in terms of eliminations, they are definitely keeping up.
And of course, the top 3 for this map, Falcons, RRQ, and you can also count Bigatron into this list since the rest of the teams are not playing today from Group B. And as far as Falcons is concerned, this is their big opportunity to make a comeback. But they have been struggling today to find those points. Not just the placement points, but the eliminations as well. They've got a total of 29 points collected over the past 3 games. 15 in total for placements, 14 total eliminations. And that's not like the Falcons at all. But I did expect them to kind of fly under the radar. And this is kind of in line with that. But not this low under the radar. I would think that they would get to that final circle a little bit stronger, but they're just getting there just purely through survival at this point.
I mean, we've got to see if you know, it was just a fluke in map 3, or you know, they gassed out, right? Top 3 most used characters for the passive abilities. You know, we got Joseph, we got Fort, and we got that Moko. Especially Fort. I mean, a lot of players just, again, they prefer to play outside the circle. Sometimes when you want to recover, you're forced to play slow, and Fort is a great asset to help you survive.
Yeah, Ford is the new Nairi, right? In the past, just popping those glue walls were able to give you that extra bit of survivability. Now Ford is there. It gives you 10 HP per second, and that refreshes that passive every time you click on your active skill, and that is a huge booster. So a potential extra 80 HP in a final circle battle can mean the difference between life and death for some of these players. So no doubt at all, he's definitely going to be spammed quite a bit. AC-80, the top weapon, all thanks to the recent adjustment, extra 25% on the damage. The consecutive shots may not be as strong, but who needs that when even your first shot hits like a truck, and the second one is more than enough to put the guy down on the ground. And it's actually outplaying the AWM. You see twice as much of those AC-80s being picked up as opposed to the AWMs, but of course, granted, you don't really find the AWMs littered all around the map.
Yeah, definitely a rare weapon to acquire, but insanely powerful in the right hands.
Oh, yeah.
We even, there's one thing that also worth mentioning as well. I think some of the fans have also noticed it, is that at BRU, we were very used to having Coach Namo with the team, but right now is Dego, right? He long-standing EVOS member, turned BRU. Now the old guard is now the coach of the team, and he was there with them, from start until end. But I wonder if this is one of the contributing factors to how BRU has slightly altered their approach into the fall season.
Limit says, don't start getting arrogant just because you got first place for once. Okay.
My counter argument to that? At least we got top 3 in EWC. No, I'm just kidding.
Limit, okay, we are the champions of EWC, but you're like 1 year too late to kind of flex all of that on RRQ at this point of time. But of course, there's a lot of talk for Limit, but obviously this guy can walk his talk as well. One of the best snipers out there, and Falcons, they not only catch strays, but they eliminate strays out there with all of their phenomenal shots. But today, the dip continues. They started off really strong. They had a 15% down in terms of their points pickup, and then another 15% downer. It's going down by another 15-20% this time around. I don't know what's up in Falcons, but they need to turn things around for themselves, because I think they've slowed down their pace quite enough already to fly below the radar. But, they're not fooling anyone. We know what they're capable of.
Oh, yeah. I have a feeling that Falcons it's like they're paying interest, They're paying interest when they don't need to. They're like, oh, we're getting taxed. Let's just give up like 10% of our total points. And they still are the top earners, the top winners in this case. They hit the Nextera. Once more, Falcons have their stats on Nextera not too shabby as well. We see the drop. I think BTR, if things go according to plan, it should be somewhere around Zipway. That's where Heavy is. Heavy in fact has a very high percentage overall of just hot dropping a second team, whether on purpose or unintentional. But this time, Expand and Falcons are going to share the same spot.
Yeah, Falcons tried their hand up against Heavy. That didn't end too well. But now up against Expand, they're hoping to get a tad bit luckier. On Fire, just dropping on the opposite side here. Luffy has got the gun in his hands, but the time turner popped. And it was the chrono being played by On Fire, so his active skill used up already. Had the backup as well as the plasma gun. Luffy didn't stand a chance. The rest of the players on the side of Expand a tad bit too slow to join him in the fight.
Yeah, Falcons went from picking on someone their own size to literally picking one of the struggling teams. And it's just the luck of the draw. This Expand just going to cut the losses. Luki being able to run far away, so it's up to Vaults to hold the line. See if he can get even a smidge of damage in. It doesn't really matter to Kiroro at the end of the day. 3 points for Falcons.
Headshot with a Mac 10 from that distance is illegal, but of course he gets it. And 3 eliminations already. Like you said, 1 more to go, but Expand is most probably going to survive this one, as Falcons don't look like they want to go on the hunt just yet and pull a Buriram on all of us.
Very comfortable spot to work with too at Zipway. Can't say the same for RRQ and AGAL, who, if you rewind time a little bit, they were the one that costed AGAL EWC before they got wiped out themselves. So there is definitely some lingering tension in between these two teams.
Let's see how they get this done, because AGAL definitely needs the points. They are the second best team from the bottom today, ousting MEC, who only have 6 points from 3 games. An average of 2 points per game is not doing them any favors. And AGAL has a total of 24 collected from the past 3 games put together. So definitely a slower day. But if they can take down RRQ right here, right now, perhaps their fate will change a bit.
Yeah. Get a brutal comparison for at least anything that involves MBC right now. It's just, even if you look at the total points there, they're getting hunted down by BRU of all teams. Ray Meow gonna lose that dual wall. And yeah, just gonna try and buy time for his teammates. Nothing much can be done. And overall standings for those that kind of missed out the earlier conversations we had, MEC 41 total points. This is not the points that they got today. It's across the entire league so far. MEC are literally at the bottom with virtually no chance of even playing in Phase 2 until the very last day, where the bottom 12 team, plays in the same lobby for that final 6 slots.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this to the fact that they're just waiting for week 6. They're just like chilling.
This is a strat. Hiding strats.
This is a strat. Hiding strats. There you go.
I come into week 6 hot, I qualify, and then I instantly go to champion rush, and I'll still be hot.
They're trying to pull a Onyx Olympus on all of us, and Falcons unfortunately faltering.
Heavy again?
I did not expect that, but this is already predicted. So I have to thank Falcons for making me look good with the predictions, but I am just surprised that they're not really trying hard at all out there. RRQ fighting the AGL players finally, one after the other. Barros goes down as well. One more to collect for a complete AGL collection in their cupboards here. But the revivals just keep being pumped through.
The stats is not looking good for AGL. One spore. Oh man, getting wiped up by RQ feels a whole lot different. Just judging by the history. Falcons getting wiped out twice by Heavy? It's not on my bingo card for sure. So 2 of the heavy hitters have already been eliminated. MEC actually got to recover, even though they ran into BRU early on. Now Heavy gets to move from north to south without much contention. MEC finds some solace, in fact even putting pressure onto Ma'ao. RQ have no intention of fighting this.
Ma'al's like, can you stop tickling me please? I need to get away. And obviously he's got a lot to protect. 2,500 coins on him. And he is not looking to lose any bit of it. And Magna is just not capable of hunting down Ma'al like the rest of RRQ would be able to if they caught hold of the Magna players. But very aggressive attempt coming through from the Malaysian squad that has been struggling thus far. Looking for any points they can get out there.
BTR have sights on Team Flash 2. There's the bunker that they have to work with. BTR coming off a very hot round on Solara, not intending to keep that streak going. Plaza Ria completely under their control. Surprisingly, when you lose 2 full teams at the start of a map, suddenly the entire map opens up for the rest of the survivors. Being able to control Plaza Ria is a boon for Vitality if they can keep Kagendra away, who are closer to them than Team Flash are.
Yeah, Bigatron definitely wants that weapon arsenal. And it looks like Kakendra has got the exact same idea as well. When Buriram making their appearance out of nowhere. And Bigatron, I want to say they'll be in trouble, but based on what Buriram has been doing so far, maybe Bigatron stands a good chance here. Maybe they can just use up all of the adrenaline that they built up on that Solara map, unleash it upon Buriram, who's not looking their best as of this point of time. Buriram on an unfortunate track record. 8 placement points collected over 3 games. It's very much unlike Buriram.
If BRU somehow loses to BTR, it is going to be one of their... It will be their worst performing round. Oh, okay, never mind. Not even close! My goodness!
Oh my.
Every single shot made to count. And that's already 2 down from BTR. At least Kyung is going to get picked back out. The time turner had to be invested just for that purpose. BTR clearly not in a condition to fight. Dinoculus thrown out prematurely by BRU. Get high finds Koja as he tries to hold back the line, but it's just not possible. BRU finding 2 free ones.
My goodness. And Bigatron, one guy bleeding out. One final survivor left in here. They find Kyung as well. Bigatron on their final lifeline. And Kagendra, who was just seeing all of this breakdown at Plazaria, wanting to have no part of this. But one managing to hit that revival will help Bigatron survive a little bit longer. Virtus Pro, on the other hand, they have a visitor dropping by in the name of Flash, and it's been a while since we've seen Flash pull out a solid play here, but Death steps in front of the Trogon Nameless with the Punisher, Exposi and Boonjain. Needs to find some sort of a recovery here, pins it behind those glue walls, but is able to break out through, and Virtus Pro undoing Team Flash and their aggression.
What the heck? Team Flash has funneled through the window one by one, so they gave VP all the isolated fight, but Expand takes advantage of that. There should be a free cleanup. Already 2 down from VP. They could not anticipate this rush. And Expand clearing them up 4 free points. And this is one heck of a start. They get to loot up whatever is left, not just by VP, but also the remnants of Team Flash.
A big help by Virtus Pro there, taking out the more dangerous squad from that equation, and then Expand clearing a house. Free 4 points for them, and very decent ambush they executed with that as well. Kagendra staying silent, not showing up on the map in front of Bigatron earlier on, but now they'll have to move into a little bit of a safer space, and it is getting a tad bit crowded here as we approach the 10th minute.
You got Magna on the northeastern side of RRQ. Both Malaysian teams are actually in the vicinity of Boxing Gym. Of course, MEC are a lot closer. Expand, I think they can just hold where they are. It's pretty dangerous to walk out right now. There's a overhead bridge. I think they're near BRU2, so that is a pretty dangerous spot to expose yourself. All things considered, it might mean that RRQ is actually in the most comfortable spot.
Oh, look at Dudes, man. Has got the active skill card for Zayn, as well as his active pick on Koda. He's super stacked. The last thing Dudes needs is a Zayn on him. Guy's already a madman as he runs through all of his opponents with the grenade launcher. And he is going to be super deadly in the final circle, if RRQ can get there, because it is getting a tad bit crowded around them. The blessing here is don't really have too many of the big teams that they won't be able to deal with. Magna as well as Bigatron should be easy pickings for RRQ. But GOW and Heavy in shooting range up against RRQ as well. And the circle read is just beautiful from the Indonesian squad.
So far, they have been very solid on approaching this Nextera map. I mean, RRQ, they are in the center, which is pretty dangerous. The more the circle closes in towards them, if it shifts away from them, then RRQ at least have a reason to start moving. But right now, moving is going to spell doom. They use a Dinoculus that's 5 players scanned out. Majority of them, 4 of them in fact, are from Kagendra. I would think the last one probably scanned out one of the members of BTR at least, but Kagendra are now right opposite RRQ.
Every single compound that can be held here as a defensive fort is being held. Bigatron has to eventually move, but they don't have big fights in front of them, so it's a high probability of a final circle play here for Bigatron, and everybody just awaiting the zone to shrink on in and show them exactly where they need to move on to next.
This is where it gets incredibly tense. The silence is deafening. If the teams are not willing to make a move, then the circle is going to dictate how this plays out. I would wager that they are waiting for the circle to show where the next zone is going to go. Dinoculus scan on the bunker, so MEC wants to just make sure that their backs are cleared so they don't have to worry about a backstab. They've already got a lot on their plate, and it's nowhere to know whether they realize that there's GOW and BTR in the vicinity. I would think they know that RQ is opposite at Boxing Gym, but their sides are still quite a question mark.
And I think it was a smart play by Magna as well to use the Dinoculus to spot the area just behind them outside this next safe zone, just to make sure nobody's going to be ambushing them. So they know that they just have to look 2 ways. One corner towards Bigatron as well as GOW on the right hand side, just to make sure they don't get ambushed from either side. So for the first time, actually, Magna has got a decent play here for the next circle. And this is going to be the moment where we find out exactly which team gets away with an extra layer of luck here. There's high probability it's going to be Expand, who doesn't need to move all that too much. But it's just a 25% chance.
Stem and Heavy too. Oh, now Heavy gets to hold that position. I think Expand, I would want to say that they have a good chance, but they have some distance to cover. Whereas for Heavy, you see them moving already. Straight into the building. BRU could make that move, but it's imperative that they get rid of Kagendra first. In this case, BRU. What's the decision? Kagendra already sees them. So there's a good chance that BRU gets held back by Kagendra. And afterwards, maybe Heavy can take advantage of that. RRQ springs into action. They take out one member from GOW.
And it was GOW that started moving out. RRQ is just camping away at the defensive spot here. Just shooting down whoever they see moving out there. Koja, beautiful headshot! But Raz responding phenomenally with those grenades. M79 for the break. Riptide Rhythm breaking down the Bigatron's defenses as well. And Magna joining the fight, and they will oust Bigatron. Definitely one of the better matches for the Malaysian squad.
And BRU, they hear that they instantly spring to life. Whoever's that had a chance of gatekeeping BRU has now completely fallen apart. There's no more fence in between them. That's why BRU gets to start moving. But MEC, they decide to fall back. They understood that now there's a third party. They don't want to be a part of this. They leave Kagendra in the hands of BRU. But as Kagendra also decides to move back, the UAV gets dropped down. RRQ is going to watch this and see if any teams run into them. And BRU now gets to dictate the rest of the circle.
Absolutely, and Magna getting a tad bit lucky here. RRQ paying attention to Expand instead of them. They get to find that reposition, looking for this next circle. Buriram on the other hand. The grenade launcher in the hands of Jonah! But out of nowhere, Raf M592 the head and Buriram again! And this time in the hands of Kagendra, they falter early.
Once more, BRU just could not get past that final hurdle. And now Expand going to take advantage of this. Luffy is going to show up with a pump to CT7, but easy for Rap. He is on a tear so far. But is it enough to keep Kagendra in the run? They're also low, and Expand knows that this is the time to pull the trigger, if ever. And they get another 4 points. That's 8 for Expand.
Yeah, Luffy and Waltz just playing this on a whole other level. And again, Expand vulturing on that opportunity, spotting a opportune moment and playing the timing so well. But now they meet their Malaysian brothers Magna, and there's just no meaning to this fight. Too fast instantly with the Trogon. Gets Getbu. 10 eliminations already. Ramia's going to be spotted. Too fast says, not that quick, buddy. You don't get to patch yourself up. Punishes him. 18 Deer with the Valiant Dash. With the Oscar. Breaks down the defenses. Finds Too Fast. And tries to put an end to the rest of Expand as well.
Luffy actually gets the trade onto Ma'al Abai. And Luffy is having such a great round. Dude, he's at the vending machine. Now he backs off as he's the only survivor left. Not really much that he can do. Either you run into Heavy or GOW. Deuce has to make a tough choice, but either way, it feels close to impossible. Expand gets the revive to buy themselves a bit more time. GOW puts up the glue wall, gonna relocate onto the roof. Great time turner to facilitate the landing, and now Expand makes it out into the open.
Yeah, perfect reposition coming on through here for GOW, and played the timing well. Looking for the time turner on the landing, but no eliminations in hand whatsoever. And Expand now has to deal with GOW as well as their high ground advantage. Akoi with the AWM has got the perfect position to find the tags. Gets the tag onto Luffy, but no knockdowns coming on through just yet. Expand still has the advantage of the circle, but not for long.
And now we get into the final phase. Expand, predicted by the system to have the most chance of winning this round at 49%. They're going to relocate, at least send one of the members onto the far end. Too fast though, spotted out by GOW. Not really sure what the call was there. Maybe aiming for the boulder. And now they're committed to saving Too Fast, but they need the glue wall or time turner. There's no way around that, and they somehow managed to stick the landing. Put themselves away from GOW, and now it's between the Vietnamese teams.
A phenomenal play by Expand. Instantly picking up Too Fast. The full squad now back in action, leaving GOW to do the dirty work up against Heavy. And they want to lay low, waiting for that opportune moment once again. But Riptide Rhythm out of nowhere. Luffy strikes AC-80, gets the double hit Hans on the ground. Recovery time. Akoi down as well. Luki and Luffy, this deadly duo will strike hot, and Heavy uses that timing to pull that right-hand side flank.
I think Expand, they just don't need to overheat right now. You see them, they thought about engaging Heavy, but now they pull back. They understood that the job is not done just yet. Heavy springs into the action the second time in the final circle that Heavy wants to take it away from Expand. We've seen this storyline played out in round 1, and with Luffy going down, Expand are down to just 3. Val's getting sniped by Don't Cry. The numbers of Expand are dwindling. They just could not overcome the sheer weight of Heavy. And this round most likely done and dusted. Heavy wipes out the only true contender in round 4. And now it's left to clean up Dian. Heavy with the second booyah of the night.
And they continue to be the most dominant team of the day. Representing Vietnam in the biggest way possible. Heavy is on a tear for sure, and the final battle sequence, one would have thought that the opportunistic squad in that final circle was Expand, but they struck too early. They picked their battle a single second too early, going for the shutdown onto GOW, allowing Heavy to circle around, pulling that flank from the right, and that was the end for Expand. And of course, Heavy with their position in that final battle, just too sweet. Don't Cry, pulling the left-hand side flank, avoiding the rest of the squad, and then later on rushing on in with the Trogon. There's so much of aggression. Expand could have, they got so close to the booyah, but Heavy once again proving to be the better decision makers in that final circle.
2 times this evening that Heavy has stopped Expand from a booyah. This one was not as close as round 1 where it came up to a clutch. This one was just Heavy playing a whole lot better. And yes, Expand, I think they could have let this scenario play out a lot longer. They realized it's slightly too late. They backed off, sure, but Heavy used the same modus operandi to take down Expand. And it's the dash straight into Expand. You can see how confused Expand were. It's the same trick. Fool me once, shame on you, but fool them twice. Still, it worked out, and Expand just could not overcome this Vietnamese team.
Yeah, it was a solid start of the day for Heavy, and we were looking for them to, really remain strong, but they didn't show up as well in Bermuda and Solara. They only picked up 12 points for both of those maps. Not collectively, 12 points each, I have to say, which is still pretty decent, right? As long as you're getting more than 10 points, we say it's a average pull from that map. Nextera was a really solid one. Booyah, plus 8 eliminations. Not the most out there, but enough to maintain their spot as that #1 team for the day. We've got 2 more games to go. But as far as I'm concerned, Heavy is on a different level right now. And this is what is so exciting about the Vietnamese teams. You never know exactly which version of them you're going to get. I mean, yesterday it was Flash, today it's Heavy, but I want to see a little bit more from Flash as well. It will be nice to see them in the final circle.
Yeah, I think the Vietnamese teams, they've been taking turns showing up, right? The Esports did it first, and then WAG, and now we got the full circle, right? Team Flash, Heavy. But some things are the same, like sadly for Falcons, 2 rounds in a row. Same, Heavy eliminated them somehow. And then BRU One Sport just could not make it past the second last hurdle. At first they were taken down by teams that we expected to take them down, like AGAL, and then now they started dropping the teams like Kagendra of all things, which really does show that the teams, they are learning, they are adapting to how BRU are playing.
Yeah, and Kagendra is not really the best team out there, but they performed surprisingly well on Solara, right? In fact, all 3 Indonesian squads getting into that final circle. Bigatron, after struggling in the first 2 games, showing up big time on Solara as well. So, but it can't just be that one map where you show up strong and then you get kind of drowned out in the rest of the noise out there, because it is quite a noisy lobby. That has not happened to Heavy. If they're not dominating, they're still floating somewhere in the mid side of the table, pulling away decent number of points. And this is exactly what we need to see to find a team that's going to be dominant out there. Even Buriram can't keep up with Heavy at this point of time, which is pretty shocking.
Yeah, it's I think this is why the competition gets tougher and tougher, right? We had this opening, where Falcons were off to a pretty good start, and the last we saw of Falcons, they wiped out half of Expand, and then we cut to them like a minute later, they got wiped out by Heavy. With this interaction, RQ taking out AGAL, and then Kagendra having one of the one of the better runs today, dealing with BTR and then turning it on BRU, who came in to clean them up afterwards.
And that basically puts Expand now in shooting range of the top 3 finisher by the end of the day. Surprisingly, the recovery from Expand has been phenomenal, but of course the highlight still goes to our MVP Alan. 2 eliminations. Alan on heavy. I was expecting more impact, but I'll take what I get. 2 eliminations, 1,365 on the damage, 1 knockdown in total. Rocking the Tatsuya has got a lot of capability for survivability out there. Surprisingly, doesn't bring in the Alvaro, but does have the Beastin for the range on those nades.
Most likely, it's right after they wiped out Falcons, they kind of went cold, right? They didn't really interact much. They just play with the circle. That's why you see the overall eliminations, the overall numbers that they have. Alan has 2, 3 for Don't Cry, and then 2 for Bui and 1 for Mufasa. It's a slower round for Heavy overall.
It's not the best game out of Heavy, but the fact that they got the Booyah is still going to put a smile on their faces. And the fact that this is the second Booyah of the day, obviously they're delighted, right? The team that runs a triple Antonio are not the most rarest thing out there in the current meta, but it kind of gives you a rough idea of what the team is focusing on, more towards the defense. They've also got a double Ford out there on Don't Cry as well as Alan to give them the extra sustainability in these fights, as well as when gets dragged out. Bui with the Zane, it's all about the defense as well as the backup as far as Team Heavy is concerned, and it's been serving them pretty well so far. But Expand will still find the highlight for themselves. 16 eliminations, which is ridiculous if you think about it, because Expand is not really the strongest squad out there in this lobby, but they are finding dominance. And through who? Luffy and Luki. This deadly duo, my oh my, they are performing so well out there.
Oh yeah, like that round, like Luffy and Luki, these two, they were just landing shots after shots. They did not miss. They made sure like even RRQ, thought twice about engaging them. But 16 eliminations, right? The last time we saw Expand have 16 eliminations in any game was probably when we still have Cobra, EXO, and Too Fast in the team. So it's been a long time coming. Today's standing, Expand shoots up to 3rd place overall, with RRQ in 2nd and Heavy in 1st.
I thought they would be in shooting range for the top 3, but who would have thought they would already be in the top 3? Good on Expand for this phenomenal climb up to the top. And now they fight up against RRQ and Heavy for that #1 spot, and they are not too far away as well. They have got 2 more games to get the deed done. Alpine and Kalahari coming up next, and this is where we hope to see Expand shine, right? Because in the past games, they have not been the worst team out there. They have definitely struggled a tad bit, especially on Kalahari. But with this momentum backing them up, with Waltz as well as Luki, Luffy all finding their rhythm out there, maybe now's the time.
And now we have RQ catching up to Falcons, because for 2 rounds in a row, Falcons only got 1 point, right? They got 0 in round 3 and 1 in the round just now. I think courtesy of taking out some members from, I believe, Expand. So 1 more good round, and RQ will be within touching distance of Falcons, but everything else almost the same. Oh, GOW now ties up with PE, but that's only because PE and Pharaoh are not playing today.
I think this is all planned by Falcons. They just want to prove that, you know what, we are inconsistent, guys. Don't look at us. And I guess they want to flex the fact that we can sleep on you on this day and we will still be at the top of the leaderboard. Yeah, maybe for today, but RRQ, like you said, is very quickly catching up. We've got 2 more games to go, and tomorrow Falcons will not be playing. RRQ, on the other hand, has got 6 opportunities. So RRQ overtaking Falcons on that #1 spot. I think it's a no-brainer at this point of time, unless, of course, RRQ drops the ball big time. But there's no consequences and there's no extra prizes if you end phase 1 on that #1 spot. As long as you're in the top 12, you get to compete on the first day of week 3, which is alright. It's just an extra opportunity to find an early qualifier, and I don't think Falcons is going to sweat over not being #1.
Yeah, I mean, even before we had the new format starting of this year, it's already pretty generous in how to qualify for the grand finals. You just need to finish top 12, and But at that time, we had multiple weeks to get to top 12. Right now, we basically, we kind of dissect the format into more bite-sized, more manageable for a lot of teams, especially those who are getting overwhelmed by the top players like BRU, Falcons, RRQ, that they're always in top 3. We get rid of them first, we send them to the finals, give them an early vacation, and then everyone else gets a fair chance at actually qualifying. And I think that has overall helped lift the quality of competition so that the teams aren't just going to keep getting ran over and miss out their shot because they are not good enough.
Yeah, no doubt at all. And of course, down at the bottom once again, Magna Esports still struggling. Bigatron kind of finding that recovery only on Solara and then went back to picking up very low points down at the table. Bigatron got only 1 point in the first game, no points in Bermuda, and 5 points on Nextera. Only that Solara map where they hit that Booyah did we see an explosive performance out of Bigatron. Apart from that, they have been kind of sleeping on the competition, which is a tad bit unfortunate. Team Flash had a decent run yesterday. Today, we really can't say the same. They are just above HEAL, currently the 3rd worst performing team of the day. And if these teams want to continue climbing up, want to find that early qualifier into the grand finals, this is where they need to step it up. 2 more opportunities from the day, and Alpine is going to be pretty unforgiving. If you look at the grand scheme of things, Team Flash should do fairly well here on this next map.
Yeah, like even for BRU, this is one of the maps that they are comfortable with too. I say that even though they haven't really been able to get past the top 6 mark, they still are compensating that with just enough eliminations. Whereas for Falcons, there's really no stress, which is good, right? Even at EWC, like we saw them getting completely, losing complete control of the maps, but the spirits are always high, and that's a good quality of some of these veterans. I can say the same for Heavy, who have been dominating so far today.
Yeah, and that was for sure something that nobody expected to see out there. Not to say that people don't expect Heavy to perform at all, but to find dominance on the #1 spot in a insane lobby that houses teams like RRQ, Buriram, even GOW, as a matter of fact, when they found better days of performance over Heavy. You've even got Bigatron, and it's just all these big names just stacked up against each other. I've left out Falcons, but only because they haven't been doing well at all. But it's crazy that Heavy's able to oust all of them and keep up this consistency that even Buriram can't find within themselves.
Yeah. At least, Buriram consistently makes it to top 6, right? At least that's something. At least top 6 in terms of placement. But then you look at teams like HEAL and VP, that's where you start scratching your head, because even till now, I can't tell you for certain where the teams stand. Like, you could refer to the overall standings and say, okay, VP, they are 17th, unfortunately. They have more games tomorrow. And then HEAL, they are the gatekeepers. They are in 12th spot. But in reality, sometimes it feels worse than that, just because of the inconsistencies that we see from them.
I mean, this is obviously going to hurt the team a little bit, but as far as Magna Esports is concerned, this is their first time here on a stage like this, but they've not really been in the circuit for all that too long as a brand. So it's their first opportunity here, and I don't think they're very pleased with what they're doing out there as of this point of time. But as far as the players are concerned, they are all veterans. They all have got enough skin in the game to understand how to play it out there. Unfortunately, the chemistry is just not clicking. Unlike what Expand has been able to do, they kind of started off rough with each other, but they very quickly fell into place. Everybody understanding the role that they need to play out there. Magna hasn't been able to find such a play just yet.
And I think on top of that, some people might also argue that it's also a byproduct of Champion Rush, right? People were really looking at Vamos to be the team that qualifies. Like, without a shadow of doubt, Vamos was kind of the next in line after Todak and Expand. But again, if you can't pull it together when it matters the most, when there's Champion Rush on the line, you get a scenario like this, right? Magna, they won it fair and square, and now they're in the big league, and you see that big power gap between them and the next best team, and in this case is VP. And then you look at the accolades of VP. they have played on the biggest stage before compared to Magna, which is literally their biggest tournament as an organization.
Yeah, I'm just scratching my head on what's Virtus.pro doing out there at this point of time, because this just doesn't make any sense at all. Like you said, Virtus.pro has played on some of the biggest stages out there, and to be struggling in this fashion down at the bottom, kind of sharing the bottom side of the league with Magna, who has barely had any experience on stages that Virtus.pro has seen and played on, and sometimes found dominance on, is pretty shocking. And one needs to wonder exactly what's going on with VP. But no doubt at all, they can jump right back into this if they kind of just patch some parts of their gameplay up. Something must be clearly off. Obviously, a lot of meta switches, but perhaps if they started keeping their heads down and playing it a little bit more like Expand, maybe they'll find more of those final circles.
And here we have some significant stats for everyone out there. Let's talk about RQ Ma'al. 4 booyahs for the team so far, 29 eliminations, one of the youngest and top sniper players that we have, right? One of the young guns. We've seen him at his best, but we've also seen him when he's really struggling. I think Mao is one of the few new gens when he joined RRQ, and at that time still under the leadership of Legolov, that he quickly showed that he has it, and then they brought in Abai, and then suddenly we realized that this RRQ could be the next thing. And now he is one of the cornerstones of the team under the leadership of Dudes.
And in a very rare situation here, we see no flag representation at all out of Thailand on our Booyah list. It's just Vietnam and Indonesia making noise today. Even Malaysia in that final circle making a lot of noise. We've got 2 more games to go, and I'm wondering exactly when Thailand is going to be waking up in this lobby. We've got Buriram, we've got Virtus.pro, we've got AGL, and we've got Falcons. I mean, out of those 4 teams, at least 2 are very capable of guaranteeing booyahs for themselves, but it looks like Falcons not in the mood. Buriram's clearly not in the mood, so I don't know who else is going to represent.
I mean, if this stats gives you any sort of security, it's GOW, right? Best performance of Alpine so far, at least in the fall season. And if anything, GOW have shown that they have some very good rounds, and I think a good reason is also because they make sure that they get their dosage of Red Bull. Red Bull Zinc and Vitamin from Thailand is supplemented with Zinc, B3 and B6, featuring a mild taste that helps players stay highly focused and seize every opportunity to achieve stylish Booyah victory.
And stylish Booyah victories, just like Heavy has been able to showcase thus far. So yeah, they're definitely playing the testament to that Red Bull really, really well at this point of time. And the consistency is mind-blowing. 26 points on the first game, 20 points on the game that just concluded at Nextera. They've got 2 more opportunities to continue smashing all of the records that they've built in the past for themselves. I wonder if they can actually exceed 100 points. And that's not going to be too tough at all. All they need is an average of 15 points on the next 2 games, and they should be well on their way to doing exactly that and earning an extra $250 US as the team of the day. Speaking of the team of the day, Alpine, as we head on in here, let's see if or not GOW can make something better out of their day that has been a tad bit gloomy so far.
Either that or Heavy wins this round, gets their 3rd Booyah with 18 eliminations, and then the job is done. You hit 100 point, and you guarantee yourself a pretty decent spot in the overall standings. We get a decent flight path. Snowfall for BRU as always. Falcons taking Fusion. Not much of a change. We've been seeing some hot drops, across today. Plenty of it. Most of them involve Heavy. Seems like that might happen again as they do stop at Forest Red. So Expand continues past Sunside. We have VP, GOW, and RQ. GOW quickly makes a detour and backs off.
The most number of points picked up thus far on a day's play thus far has been by Falcons, a total of 107. And Heavy is not too far away from breaking that. But of course, I hope we haven't cursed them already. Virtus.pro, early drop on Kagendra. Nameless. Having to use the Tatsuya's Rebel Rush to get out of that sticky situation. Who can find the P90? Great gun, great rate of fire, beautiful damage, has got that backup as well.
What?
But unfortunately for him, gets punched down by Easy for Dead, who didn't have enough time to pick up a gun. But who needs a gun when you've got your fist?
And Diamond bested him at the very end. almost looked ugly for VP.
Oh yeah.
Because Bunjay, Nameless, he was panicking. He was missing his shot so much he started to scope in and out while he's getting punched easy for dead. Thankfully, they bested Kagendra at the very end, because that would have been an ugly exit. But they're not out of the waters just yet, because Expand is about to show up.
We've all done that scoping in and out, bro. A moment of panic. We all understand how he felt at that point of time. But Expand finding Virtus Pro, who sends out a insurance policy before they continue this showdown up against the Malaysian squad. Waltz. Question is, does he have enough on him? 6 medkits, but only a single glue wall. So Expand can't get super aggressive in this fight up against Virtus Pro. And they have got no idea that they do outnumber the Thai squad. Oh, looky. Advantage. AC80 doesn't find the connections.
Yeah, it did use the binoculars to confirm if anyone was nearby. Ends up scanning out Diamond. Again, forcing a full retreat from VP. So VP will definitely continue in this round. Let's see if Expand can at least claim this free point. Too Fast actually backing off. I thought Expand would make the call to commit a little bit more. Dian just found a buy, and Ma'al ready to bring him back immediately. So nothing much was lost for RRQ.
And Expand does claim a point as well. We hop on over to Heavy and Flash, and it looks like, although Flash doesn't have the full numbers on this side just yet, a premature engagement will not be at their detriment, because here comes Buriram pincering in the players of Heavy on the other side, and I don't think the Vietnamese team even knows what's happening. Alan spots him out. Jonah deadly there, and Heavy instantly tries to scramble, but to no avail. Wasana finding that high ground. AC80 to the back. Bui trying to find a return fire here. Will get nothing out of it, as Moshi finds the Zom out of Flash as well. Perhaps this is the lifeline needed. The distraction that Flash provides could perhaps give them a little bit of opening to get away from Buriram.
I think Flash, if they want to back off, they got to back off now, because Wasana is arriving. 2 of them have jumped away from the launch pad. Bui ends up losing himself to get high. 3 eliminations for BRU. Heavy will have to bear the brunt of the punishment. Wasana did see Huang Ang flying away, but not able to land the shot, so Team Flash ends up being safe. I think Heavy also got out of this. RRQ can say the same for them, up against the best performing team so far on this map, GOW. But RRQ also lost one body. Dude's hiding behind the time turner. Now has recovered his health, goes in for a surprise attack onto Hans, drops the glue wall, and bests Hans in that fight.
The best team on this map seems to be getting toasted. It came across the wrong team, wrong time, too early, and they were just definitely not prepared for battle. Dian has the right gun though, and Akoy with the revival will keep the squad in. Dian, masterful shot from afar. And Boon James, I don't know how Jonah found him, but unfortunate. Wasana goes in for the finisher, and that is a couple of extra points here picked up. Once again, early aggression out of Buriram.
Yeah, I mean, they lose Boon James, but they find someone else. So VP not really losing much steam, in the overall scheme of things. Moshi on a reconnaissance found Heavy, I think. Bringing the rest of BRU, there goes Moshi getting tagged a little bit. Mufasa shooting him, but he goes into the container. So that's going to put him closer to Don't Cry. It comes down to whether Heavy can relay that info and stop the rest of BRU. Don't Cry ends up getting knocked down, so the whole front falls apart. Jonah in the front takes out one, and the rest of Heavy just does not stand a chance.
I don't know if Buriram is intentionally hunting down Heavy for a little bit of revenge here, or it's just luck that has them searching player after player out of the Vietnamese squad. But if history tells us anything, it's that this is not over just yet. Heavy were under heavy pressure from Buriram in that first game at Purgatory, and they made that phenomenal comeback, wrapping up the game with the Booyah, although it looked like they were about to be annihilated by this team. And to top it all off, they were the final ones to get the elimination onto Buriram from that map as well. So a sweet, sweet revenge. But as the pace slows down here for Buriram, Heavy finds a little bit of recovery.
Yeah. I mean, then we have Snowfall. Again, BRU goes back to where they like to drop on Alpine as RQ makes a long rotation. It's going to be a safe one, even though they are marked by AGAL, who are right across at Sunside. The random VP player Diamond in that building, but unfortunately VP are not in a condition to fight, so RQ, they can make their rotation far away through Carousel and maybe make that long journey from the northern side if they want to. There is a vending machine which they did scan out with the binoculars. I believe Ma'al used that, and RQ finds some breathing room.
Nothing like jumping on a duck across Carousel's lake. As Buriram makes that huge jump pad rotation around, looking for the heavy players. As they sit in a vehicle, Wasana doesn't have the right gun. Almost though. Finds a couple of connections, get high. Looking for a little bit of an angle to play with here. Wasana still pelting away at the vehicle of heavy. Bullet after bullet, get high, not giving up just yet, but they drive away into the distance, and that should give them the full escape out of Buriram's reach.
Yeah, BRU playing so deep in the blue as well. I think they're fine with it. In a 2-2 formation, this is still pretty early, I think, even for Buriram. They have a vehicle to work with, so this rotation makes a lot of sense. And RQ continuing up Carousel, but this is where they decided that they have gotten what they wanted, and now it's back into the circle they go. I think from the north side, it should be slightly safe. If anything, they probably will run into VP, and that's pretty much it.
4 eliminations strong here for RRQ. Every single squad has got their members intact. Full revivals have been brought through already. Gearing up for this next circle battle, which is going to get pretty crowded by the looks of things, as Buriram looks for that rotation. Question is, will they spot anyone out here? Alpine's a huge map, so you're going to have some of these dry moments for sure. But that just means a lot of chaos will ensue a little bit later on.
Yeah, incredibly quiet still. Even though we have 11 teams left, it seems that BRU have found a sweet spot. Most teams hang around in the eastern side of the map, and that's why BRU are very confident that once they get rid of Heavy, they force multiple teams to rotate away. So they got them plenty of control. Still trying to make sure that they use binoculars to check. AJL makes contact with VP, and whoa, dude, what a sharp one onto Boon James. Exposed, forced to engage with the help of Nameless, gets separated by the glue wall, and masterfully done by AGAL. They win this without really breaking a sweat.
Double kill.
Yeah, desperate attempts by Diamond, but that will be to no avail. Dew finds him, and Virtus Pro again will falter early. It's just not their day, not their run here in phase 1.
Oh, not at all. It's just pretty tough overall for VP. Again, the inconsistencies is what has posed the biggest question. And the identity that we know of VP is long range, something that Falcons are really good at, and Heavy is not willing to give it to them. Pina on the roof, Limit needs to look for a spot with a good line of sight, but in this building it's pretty tough.
Bigatron almost got wiped out, but RRQ trying to make sure that does happen. One final survivor left on their side. Heavy up against Falcons on the other hand. Mufasa, Allen, back-to-back shots. Tororo not giving them any breathing room at all. And the firing squad, the follow-up, just too clean from Falcons. And Heavy out in 10th. Nothing much they could do in a spot like that. And the top performing squad eliminated. And enough room now for RRQ to catch up.
Yeah, plenty of room in fact. Unfortunately for Heavy, they're not willing to play in the blue. And RRQ gets a freebie on the Koja. There goes VTR in nice spot. The team, the number of players starting to shrink rapidly. RRQ will have Team Flash right in front of them. But RRQ is going to take it slow. Again, no point engaging in these unnecessary fights. They're still within the safe zone. If they can cut their losses and make sure that they don't have to use too much resources, eventually the circle is going to force Team Flash to make the first move.
Yeah, and where is this next spot that they're going to look for though? Team Flash in a sticky situation with the encounter up against RRQ on the menu. But both teams having this next circle at least has a little bit of breathing space. Expand making a little bit of good rotations in here, but now here comes trouble. Buriram making their way in. GOW could be the distraction for Buriram as Expand looks for, my God, what a hit. Get high, finding both Too Fast and Luki on the landing. Riptide Rhythm. None out of the players out of Buriram, and well, that was a great opportunity missed.
I mean, there's a bunker for Expand. I think they can still stay there. BRU, they have the circle still. Look at this. If anything, GOW is going to come from behind. BRU are not aware of this. There's a good chance that we get the backstab. Expand now has a very good chance of playing into the circle. And then with GOW getting fired on by BRU, this is the best chance for Expand to slip away into the shadows.
Great play from Expand when it comes to the position. And with that maneuver, very lucky that they did manage to get all of those glue walls up in time and play that safe. And obviously the weapons arsenal providing that bunker sort of a setup where they don't need to waste a lot of glue walls. Just two in and out that they need to kind of watch over. But the next circle is not going to be in their favor. So a little bit of rotation needed here by Expand. And what's ahead of them is the open grounds. And Jonah moving straight on in. Pulls out the time turner. Has got the M79 in hand. The weapon of doom. Can he get shut down? The players rush on out. Looking, finding Wasana. Wrong player.
Whoa!
Jonah still up on his feet. Get high with a quick hit and run. Waltz looking for him. Takes away 50% of his HP. Moshi with the backup as well. And Get High sneaks back in. They shut down the wrong player in that equation and they pay the big price.
Yeah, I think at this point it's fair to say that the teams also have to recognize that Wasana isn't the main guy anymore, because Get High, he is something else. Like 2025 for Get High has been a special year. I mean, Wasana is still good, sure, but you have to worry about Get High because he and Moshi, once more, this tag team made an essential 2v4. Barros takes out Akoi from afar. They have a monster truck to take advantage of if they want to drive closer. Because GOW are not in a condition to fight. I feel like AGL can push the envelope a bit more. Have Duel perched on that boulder, send the rest of the team in with the monster truck, or let BRU take care of the rest of GOW.
Yeah, not going to happen here for Buriram. I think they've used up quite a bit of the luck already. Two more players left. Jonah and Get High. At least the sharpshooter is going to be deadly. A timely glue wall erected here by Jonah. And Falcon is just laying out those glue wall melters, trying to take down the defenses off of Captain Jonah first. And the grenade's not popped just yet. Jonah buying a lot of time, and what a shot to the head. Pina goes down. And the rescue, desperate from the side of Falcons, and unfortunately not available as Get High pressures them off of him.
Insane shot. Sometimes you wonder how they react so fast. Riptide Rhythm is out on fire, pushes forward, and what a nade! Overhead by Kororo, more than enough to get rid of BRU in the end. At least the remnants of them. In front of them is MEC. Falcons will have to push on forward. MEC have a good chance. They have the numbers too. Let's see if they can finally stop Falcons in their tracks.
The recovery game here for Falcons, but RRQ's looking for that booyah as well. Falcons don't need to worry much because Flash seems to be doing some miracle play here up against RRQ, and out of nowhere, dropping player after player. 18 Deer looking for a little bit of survival here as the rest of the Flash players up their health right back up. Good glue wall erected, but the numbers game on the side of Team Flash. 18 Deer, all he can do is run, and Limit finds his back from the opposite side of the field.
Tien just took himself out with a grenade launcher, and I think the blue took him out afterwards. Oh no, GOW, they lose Rip 2 on fire, takes him out. MEC have a pretty decent chance of winning this. Actually, if GOW out for the picture, MEC, they have the full squad left. You can say the same for Team Flash. What a nade. Limit now in the red. Ale pushes on forward, has the help of the Cassie, and that is them pouncing on the Falcons on fire. Not going to stand a chance at all in this 1v4. Magna puts themselves in a powerful position. Top 2 guarantee. It's going to be between them and Team Flash, but Team Flash now moves on forward.
Magna still has got a big chance here. One more player from the side of Falcons. Ramiel gets the job done. M10-14 in hand. Jans, Mag 7 going in for the save. backs up the rest of the team members. Riptide Rhythm from afar, Getbu down on the ground.
Oh,
Zom
no.
meets him with the M590. Jans with a miracle play though with the Mag 7. Steffi's popped, but Flash brings the finisher in courtesy of Zom. That M590 doesn't fail here. One more player from the side of Falcons. Ramiel gets the job done. M1014 in hand. Jans, Mag 7 going in for the save. Backs up the rest of the team members. Riptide Rhythm from afar. Getbu down on the ground.
Oh,
Zom
no.
meets him with the M590. Jans with a miracle play though with the Mag 7. Steffi's popped, but Flash brings the finisher in courtesy of Zom. That M590 doesn't fail the squad. And Alpine is that recovery map for Team Flash.
And for the third time this evening, a Malaysian Team Booyah denied by a Vietnamese counterpart. This time Team Flash denied what could have been a Magna win. But still, great final circle. Team Flash, they did not wait for Magna to complete the job. In fact, they were betting on MEC to not have enough gas to play that long extended fight, and they were absolutely right. Magna had some very good ideas, but Team Flash just won out in some of these crucial gunfights. This sneaking that shot through before the duo was put up allowed Team Flash to keep on pushing forward, and the rest was history. Team Flash won most of the 1v1s, and MEC just had to surrender in defeat.
This is a very interesting day for Magna overall. A total of 29 points secured for the Malaysian squad, and this has to be their best play day ever. Because of course, second day of play, they only got 8 points, so it was a pretty low bar for them to kind of step up over. But, you know, they got close, really close, outdoing Falcons, but just not close enough. Flash kind of saw that opportunity and they didn't waste any time whatsoever. They instantly threw their players down there. The Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses. Getbu had a chance, but with that glue wall down already, just nothing much that he could do with that.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, we're 5 rounds in. I think 3 rounds we had a top 2 Malaysian Vietnamese top 2.
Yeah.
Which this is a very rare occasion, but again, it really shows that these two regions, you know, even Malaysia is.
For a long time now.
Yeah. The only thing that they've done with that opening is polish it, right? They've refined how they approach it. Back then, they drop refinery and they just wait. They just wait at refinery, they see where the circle takes them, and then they make the next move. But nowadays, they will drop refinery and then they will explore, like you say, they explore the area around the refinery. They try to find out where the rest of the teams are, and then they will see where the circle moves before deciding whether they want to double back to refinery or they start moving out. But there's one place that they always avoid, and that's command post. More so when BRU is in the lobby, if you want command post, it's over their dead body.
Absolutely, and a very wild refinery drop here courtesy of RRQ, and a insurance policy being sent far out here in a very weird drop up against Virtus Pro as well as Kagendra. You just have one stray RRQ player and he has no business here whatsoever. So I wonder exactly what is he going to be able to pull away. But thus far, Kagendra, one elimination already. Dudes in a dangerous spot, almost spotted out.
And he actually punishes Easy for Rough somehow. I thought he's going to get chased down. Dudes still surviving, thank goodness. Easy for Dead finally gets rid of him. Kagendra getting 3 eliminations. RQ still hanging on. At the cost of VP being in the conversation, this is about to get messy. CT7 fights Nameless. Blue one put up. Nameless around the corner, just point blank blast him. So CT7 goes down. Easy for Dead comes in. Challenger number 2. And this is not going to be an easy. Nameless somehow running circles, but Easy for Dead ends the VP's run just like that.
Triple
And
kill.
RRQ, the battalion, the backup has been called, and they are the firing squad, but a one final second revival being pulled through to keep the squad alive. And Kagendra, with 6 points in hand, will be able to continue playing. Expand, on the other hand, hearing all of this ruckus, drops by the maze to check it out.
They should be able to get a buy. Not a problem there. Vaults with an easy claim. Again, we talked about how RRQ, they like to explore outside of the refinery instead of just sticking there, because if the recent years has shown us anything, teams are more than willing to go refinery and fight RRQ for it. So they need to establish a lot more presence around that area. But sometimes it does come at the cost of some of their members. Limit goes onto the roof, but unfortunately, Heavy has already vacated the area. They don't want to take this 1v1. And Karoro left the hunt for Bui.
Magna's Iive finding one off of Gagendra. Falcon on the other hand, up against Heavy. Bui not standing a chance this time round. Overwhelmed with the numbers, but of course nothing much that they cannot recover from here. Heavy just with the single player loss, looking for more as Don't Cry buys him right back.
Not a problem too. BTR continues to chase. They see Heavy members just flew by, but they're looking for Team Flash. And the initial tag with the Huang should be enough. What was that shot? What a response for Huang. Bring him down to 1v3 still. Too much to handle. At least dealt some damage to Koja, as BTR will need to bring him back up.
Flash with the recovery alongside RRQ as well. Magna surprisingly being able to catch one of the players off guard, only because they have played such a wide split drop. And I guess if it wasn't broken, they shouldn't have fixed it. They try to fix it, and they are far, far away from their usual refinery drop. Magna, on the other hand, in a sticky situation here as they find the Vietnamese players running straight at them. Iive, what a play! On the very edge of the platform with the Drogon, overwhelms. Jans gets a double on top of that as well, and Magna is dominating refinery right now.
Some way, somehow, Magna, if they can bring Iive back up, they're going to be back in full force. They have held back GOWs. Jans, can he pick up this last one? One more shot is going to do the job. Jans needs to reposition. In fact, goes for the chase. Magna fully commits. At least Yen does. Get booed. They commit again. What was this? Double backing a little bit. If they can take out Dian, it's going to be 6 points for them. Now they see him take the launch pad.
Okay.
So the choice is to fall back. A bit of indecisiveness, but still settling for 5 points. That's pretty nice as they have taken control of refinery.
Very smooth play here from the Magna players, and I don't mind them holding on to refinery. It's a really good spot. This next circle is surely going to be in their favor for the most of it. AGAL, on the other hand, playing all the way outside at Shrines with an opportunity to bump into Allen. Newest player on the side of Heavy, but not new to this level of gameplay at all. From WH, my God! What a play from Cypher. AC80, one shot needed, straight to the head.
Making it quick and easy. No time wasted. AGAL with the revive straight onto Barros. Team Flash also doing the same. Somehow, Magna continues to find victim. This time on expand with mass revive. Expand back into the game. Falcons now arrive at Shrine. AGAL still under pressure from Heavy first, and Falcons going to be the next contender, and AGAL will have to find that out the hard way.
Superman in hand, so very quickly back in here, but Limit out of nowhere. AC80 to the head, Team SR, but the recovery is there. Pina in shooting distance, spotted out by Barros. Karoro trying to find a flank, and Pina's just going to be that distraction. Gets the elimination onto Allen, and that's the end for Heavy.
The Falcons actually spreading out, so they're taking point at every single part of Shrines. AGAL will just make the rotation. It's not really any purpose in sticking around. I think Falcons, they don't really want to fight this either. No shown of force at all. So they let AGAL make the rotation. As what was the jump shot? What was the charge buster of all things? Wasana playing dirty with a gun that has been forgotten by most people.
Wasana's like, they nerfed everything I have in my life. Therefore, I shall go back to my charge buster. But yeah, I think it's just something that you can't avoid as of this point of time. Man still looking for a better weapon on the ground as they continue to loot up command posts. You really got to wonder exactly where is luck going to find Wasana once again. Everything that he loves has been nerfed in the game.
and still, they're still somehow the top contender. They say you can nerf the game, but not the players. They always find a way.
They definitely found a way for Wasana.
They're not as dominant, but still dominant enough to be in the list of top teams.
Wee, Wasana, come on. Man's like, you're talking about me? I still can play the AC80. Beautifully done.
What was that?
Dudes. Just best elimination in the game. Takes out one of the strongest players himself.
Hey, you know what they say? You are your own worst enemy sometimes. This is one of those examples. That was such a weird thing to happen because I felt like he had such a big area to fire, but somehow took himself out. Bet RQ kicking themselves in the butt for that one, but thankfully there was no extra commitment from AJL, so RQ dodged a bullet despite hitting themselves with a grenade.
The question is, does he get back his grenade launcher on the revival? Because now the compound is flooded by two Thai squads. Flash up against Buriram on the other hand. And Buriram has got quite a bit of space to work around with here. Moshi finding Wang. Jonah for the finisher as well. An easy play here for Buriram as Flash instantly scrambles, not wanting a fight.
So BRU is actually playing incredibly slow this round. Usually they would commit slightly more if they see stragglers, but they are just allowing some of these players to just run away, and they're fine with it.
Yeah.
Although I think they did find ABCD. Do they know that? I feel like Get High
They
knows.
heard me and they're like, okay, let's deliver this. Booyah! Get High. Dangerous tag. And a timely glue wall. ABCD up against Get High now. Has got the M590. Get High though. Got beautiful play with the valiant dash for victory. And ABCD outmaneuvered.
Absolutely styled on. That was not even close.
Damn.
Thank you, observers, for the bird's eye view. That was amazing. That should go into one of the highlights. Individual outplays.
For sure.
Second, after the Dew and Moshi 1v1.
I mean, he was already tagged up. 50% of his HP down. M590 just needed one solid connection. But again, the Oscar just surprising you all the time when he breaks down the defenses. And man literally broke his own glue wall to get that. Beautifully done overall. But of course, they're looking for potential booyah here, which is impossible from Buriram. But it's still on the cards here. RRQ, though, is not going to be making that easy. Guys are still alive, and Dutz has been revived.
We need... What? Oh, the nade from Ferroro!
My God.
It just obliterated AJAL in 10th spot. And just like that, Falcons, now they get to move on forward a little bit. Some firefight, I think it's BTR shooting at them, but there's also MEC nearby. I mean, if you think about it, we nerfed Tatsuya, but we got a stronger version of Tatsuya in return. So technically, there wasn't really a nerf to begin with. Fire did get knocked down, and they should bring him back up, no problem. BTR is going to hold that angle for as long as possible.
What can Buriram do with a position like this? Still very dangerously close to Team Flash. Circle closing in the next 3 seconds here. And they're going in for the kill. Get High with the flank. Oscar recharged. Valiant dash on standby. Jonah giving that information to the rest of the team members. At the same time, keeping an eye on Death as well. He knows that there's one straggler from the back, but it's all about the timing here between Death and Jonah.
We did say that no team would like to go command post because it's BRU's hotspot, but one team that keeps on doing it time and time again is Team Flash. Def has paid the price for it, but BRU, they want control of the entire compound. And look at this spread. Essentially, Team Flash have been boxed in. They are forced to split up. The Zong will have to pay that price. They take out Get High, but no elimination. So at the end of the day, it's Flash losing 2 for nothing.
And they've got a heal UAV there just to help them out a tad bit. Zom, timing. Oh, great time turner pulled out, but game of numbers catching up with him. Get High, finding the tag. And now with this jump pad, they should be able to quickly reposition Wasana. Wild tricks with the monster truck from up top. And negates all damage by using the vehicle. as he quickly repositions. Technically had the hook gun, didn't need to do that, but style points for Wasana.
He can do whatever he wants. Look at that, they're in such a comfortable spot. From command post straight onto refinery. Let's see if this circle ends at refinery. Should be not within what I predicted. I hope that it takes up more of that spot, but towards the western side, so Kagendra gets a tiny piece of that area, but we'll have to deal with BRU and GOW, who definitely want that high ground.
Buriram's definitely playing like teddy bears at this point of time. I wonder exactly what... they're practically trolling this lobby, for sure, with the way they're playing. It's the final game. I better deliver on my prediction.
Yep. I mean,
But it's going to be a tough one because you've still got the big names alive and kicking. Holy Lord! There goes one.
Yep, they are now 6 teams away from the Booyah. 12 eliminations.
Instant shutdown, man.
There is a chance that if they win this round, they're going to overtake the other 2 teams in front and become the team with the most points in today, with probably the second, third least placement points overall. Just pure elimination.
Well, Heavy is out of the equation already, so overtaking them is a no-brainer. In fact, I think they've already done that with the overall number of eliminations at this point of time.
Yeah.
But Expand up against Bigatron, big fight for them once again. Double nades being cooked up. Too Fast looking for a good toss. Finds absolutely nothing from that. And Bigatron now with their counter charge. The timing beautiful from the Indonesians, but it's a tad bit unfortunate. Kyong missteps it. Luki takes advantage.
Oh.
Koja jumps on out, and Luki with the charge buster of all things.
Oh.
Riptide Rhythm! What a play! A clutch by Luki!
Oh, he's done it! He's done it once and he has done it again! Luki saves the team! Might not have been able to get a Booyah earlier on, but this win was necessary. He not only takes out BTR, he revives the entire squad because BTR did not eliminate anyone from Expand. They are so back in this round.
Oh, hell yeah. What a play from Expand. Luki, my goodness me, that guy. What a flex. Amazing plays. With a charge buster of all guns, he got that clutch. Now Kagendra up against Buriram. This is going to be a tough fight. Wasana cooking it up. Riptide Rhythm breaking down their defenses, courtesy of RRQ. That was a smooth escape, but now Wasana trapping Get High in the container. Moshi finding walls. Luffy strikes right back. Pickups not going to be impossible here. Moshi with his high ground can disrupt many squads.
Expand actually trying to take the fight to VRU, and now Falcons also joined it. Kagendra also part of it. Everyone wants a piece of Buriram United, but no one is getting a bite out of it. They keep bringing the members back out, and now Kagendra gets pit against RRQ as VRU completely disengaged from the situation. So the Indonesian ends up having to fight each other. 18 tier and Dudes trying to chase for the Kagendra players. Wow. They run away. MBC now joins in. VRU is just watching this all go down.
Dudes now on the ground. Magna, big play. Can they shut down RRQ? 18 tier left in here. The clutch god of EWC 2024 will get annihilated by all teams. Magna on a stand-up performance this time round. Malaysia is on fire.
The Yance goes down, so Moshi ends up getting that's 19 eliminations. 20.
See, this is why this is why I don't make predictions, man. Too much energy sent the way of Buriram. 19 phenomenal eliminations. And now they go up against Magna, who have 2 players on their side. Falcon has got Pina, who is going to be very dangerous. And Moshi targets the exact player that is going to be the biggest of dangers out there. Magna still has got 2. They can pull off a phenomenal booyah here and upset Buriram.
Circle actually favors MEC the most, but MEC, they move very early, and Get High knows this. This frag grenade lobs it towards where Pina is at, so doesn't threaten MEC, but they throw a glue wall melt. The Moshi supports that Get High 1v2. He's that confident that he has a chance. MEC continues to protect themselves from BRU. This is not done and dusted just yet. A good play running into the container. BRU loses vision of them. Pina now searching for cover, and Moshi trying to desperately find a target to whittle down the numbers. Vols is left all alone, trying to play the healing game, but you're not gonna out-heal the blue and Moshi. Where are you gonna look at? Where is the next objective?
Yeah, Pina is still super dangerous, man. I mean, he's got that AC-80.
Vols
up on top.
Oh!
M590 get high, decent glue wall erected. Moshi pulls up the shotgun as well, and the Valiant dash gets him tagged up by the blue.
No!
Instead, Moshi headshot onto Get Boo, pick up by Iive. Riptide Rhythm courtesy of Moshi, breaking down the defenses, and Iive has to back away, could not pick up his buddy, and now the blue aiding the rest of the squads here to pressure Buriram.
Fatal mistake from Getbu. Why did you show yourself? I felt like they could have just played it slower, but Getbu got a bit impatient to try and chip in into that fight, ends up losing his life. And the chance of MEC winning this gets a bit lower. BRU losing help as well. The blue is not being kind to any of them. Right on the edge, that's where Vols is. But the glue wall from BRU, ironically, is keeping Vols safe. Pina sneaks a shot in on to Get High. Moshi should be able to bring it back out. Vols is trying to make BRU's life hard, and now they chase him. Pina shoots Get High out of mid-air. It's a 1v1 between 4 teams. Iive and Vols guns for Moshi, who is running away, and Pina now rotates.
As anticipated, Pina was the most dangerous player in that circle to disrupt Buriram, and he takes away a key player from the side of the 2-time world champs. Now hunting down Moshi, sniper versus sniper. Iive and Waltz, the 2 shotgun players, are staying far away from these 2 Thai monsters who just want to devour each other. Moshi playing it really safe, but has to be careful here. Waltz the distraction, flanking around the right-hand side. Riptide Rhythm, Iive almost got shut down.
Oh!
Moshi M590, Pina now finds his back. Iive gets the strike and Pina finishes off Iive instead. Moshi escapes.
That could have been Moshi going down, but Pina ends up taking it away. Oh, the numbers are so close. I mean, Moshi still pitted by the system to have the best chance of winning this out. Shotgun in hand, Vols down to the south side. Moshi shows himself. What a showdown between these 3. And Pina has been the biggest spoiler so far. Retirement for Moshi. Pina is the target, but he ducks into safety. When does Vols spring into action? He could be the difference maker as Vols closes the distance. Moshi takes a beating. Pina around the corner. Moshi finally goes down, and this is maybe Expand's chance to get the booyah for themselves as Pina starts healing out. Vols with the hook gun on top, misses the shot. Pina back up to full.
Almost pulls it off. Waltz now up against Pina. He is the better shotgun player in Expand. Pulls away the most phenomenal booyah from the competition that we've seen thus far. What a final game for the day.
Denied 2 booyahs, both by Heavy before this moment, and they finally were able to get a win just like yesterday. Round number 6 to end the evening on a high note. Expand. Everyone was playing chess. This was like a grandmaster chess game at the end. 4 sets of 1v1s, and it came down to the wire when Vols being able to pull out the biggest clutch when the rest of his team have been guiding him to this point. And finally Expand gets to celebrate a win.
It would have been unfortunate if he didn't get the final elimination, because obviously when it comes to the type of engagement, Expand's players obviously had the higher chance of winning that out as the shotgun player instead of the primary sniper of the squad. Pina had the AC-80, and although Get High and Moshi were keeping an eye on the right player in the sequence of battle, Pina was just too slippery. If they had shut him down, Buriram would have gotten that booyah. But what's most important is, did they manage to climb up to that #1 spot in the most insane manner ever? Like we talked about, they had the least number of placement points, and I think they still have the least number of placement points, or at least down there at the bottom, because they didn't grab the booyah.
Yeah, so they had 16 points before this. They finished 3rd. So there's 8 points, so they had 24 placement points. But last we checked in, they have 18 eliminations. So I would not be surprised if they still place themselves in 1st place. I definitely felt like there was a slight missed opportunity by MEC, right? Because they had the numbers. They were the only team with 2 members left after Get High went down. A bit unfortunate for MEC, but I gotta say, Vols played that very well as well, because I think overall he took the most damage from the blue zone due to his path of rotation to keep himself safe from Pina and Moshi, and he was able to take advantage of that because Pina just really wanted to end Moshi, and I guess with Moshi down, Vols was an afterthought.
I'm very happy to see overall the performance out of Expand because they didn't play chicken, right? They didn't just hide away and try to play their chances. Waltz actually tried to take the 1v2 on the upper side of that platform with the hook gun. Took a quick shot, realized, okay, there's two players up here. I don't stand a good chance. Instantly backing away, playing his glue walls once again, waiting for that opportune moment. Watching the battle between Pina and Moshi, going for that flank around that right-hand side, wrapping around slowly. It was just, like you said, a game of chess, and it was played wonderfully by all four teams in that final circle. I have to say, it really didn't matter who won it at the end, but it's just extra sweet that it was Expand. And like you said as well, Magna finding a grand performance in this game. They're just getting better and better and better. Nextera 10 points, Alpine 13 points, here at Kalahari 16 points. But of course, the MVP of the game for sure is Buriram. 20 eliminations is just damn.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I mean, with special mention to the Malaysian teams today, right? Magna and Expand, out of 6 rounds, they were top 2 in 4 of them, right? With 1 booyah, of course, claimed by Expand. So this is a wonderful day. I'm pretty sure our colleagues on the Barca desk are going to be thrilled to not only talk to Expand, but also just see such a great performance from the Malaysian teams after quite some time.
Today has been a beautiful day for Malaysia, and you can't ask for more. This is exactly what Malaysia has needed for a long time. Their teams just waking up in the competition, making better decisions out there, stop hot dropping each other and looking for easy points, but taking the road less traveled, right? Going and trying your luck out there up against the other squads from the rest of these regions. And they did exactly that. And guess what? It is turning out beautifully for them. And they have to make the most use of these opportunities. Of course, Expand is very close to the top 12. I do hope that they do manage to break into the top 12 so they get more number of play days overall before finding the qualifier into the grand finals. But Waltz, the MVP, we won't have it any other way. The guy, 5 solid eliminations, 2,855 on the damage, 5 knockdowns. And you see exactly why. That gear recycle on the Shani. He's got that Awakened Andrew. He's got 4 to give him that extra bit of HP in a tough situation. And also as the rusher, he's got the Tatsuya. So he activates that Tatsuya's Rebel Rush. He refreshes his fort. He gets that extra bit of HP and viability out there. The perfect setup if you are a solid M590 player.
Yeah, it's everything falling into place. I mean, I was a bit worried when I saw both Magna and Expand side by side in a 1v1 situation with a glue wall in between. I thought that they're going to take each other out again. Somehow the stars align and Expand walks away with the win. This time, of course, Vaults with the most eliminations, but they still close out the round with 10 eliminations in the Booyah. 22 points, not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. I mean, this is an unexpected breakout run, and I was mentioning this from the very start of the day. This is the monstrous lobby. This is the lobby where it's going to be very difficult to find points, and Expand broke all barriers. They were one of the best teams out there. Definitely top 3 based on this game's performance as well, grabbing a total of 21 points. The number 1 spot still sneaked away by Buriram. Falcons making that final game comeback as well alongside Buriram, but just not enough to oust them from that number 1 spot. 20 eliminations is definitely too much to outdo.
Yeah, I mean, even thank God they didn't get the Booyah because they would have gotten 30 plus points, but still, again, with just sheer firepower, they overtook the competition in almost every single round. Now, the main question is, how much point did they get today overall? Because I feel like they definitely have gotten first place, right?
Yeah, definitely first place. That's guaranteed, but I'm pretty sure not by much at all. RRQ, thankfully didn't pull away as many points, which is crazy because they just needed to survive a little bit longer, and if that wasn't possible, maybe a few extra eliminations. But total standings of the day, 90 points. Buriram, your number one squad of the day, followed by RRQ on that second spot. And this is what's ridiculous. Look at those placement points, man. 24 points. The only other team that did worse than them was Virtus Pro and AGAL. But still, that's like down at the bottom what they pulled away from placements.
Yeah, and BTR, right? They're bottom 4 in terms of eliminations and still top. Bottom 4 in terms of placement, top in eliminations. And
Oh, yeah.
just them up the overall standings. They still have tomorrow, 6 more rounds to play before phase 1 ends, and they are already in 3rd spot. In comparison, they're 3 booyahs behind RRQ. They have more eliminations still compared to RRQ. Like, how crazy is that? What?
And the best Predator, week 2, day 2, 19 eliminations. And it has to be the new hairstyle. Moshi's back, baby. When he had the blue hair, he was the top fragger. When he's got the cornrows, he's the top fragger. Man needs just needs to keep bringing in these new hairstyles to continuously dominate. But alongside him is his brother Get High from Buriram as well. 19 eliminations, but obviously ousted by Moshi's damage on the AWMs as well as the AC-80. Crazy stuff. And they walk away with the title of Team of the Day.
Can you imagine it? They had arguably the 4th worst placement point performance and still became Team of the Day because they're just that good. And the eliminations play a big part for them getting the top spot at the end of the day, at least for overall points gathered in a single day. They didn't break any records, they didn't reach 100, but I'd say overall today's competition was a lot more closer than we all kind of expected it to be.
Absolutely, man. And what a fun day this has been here. We've got an interview on standby for you guys as well to wrap the day up. But, you know, it has been amazing casting with you once again, Husky. And the day has been providing us back-to-back fun. So many unexpected moments out there. The rise of the Malaysian squads. For sure, not something that I expected in this monstrous lobby, but very happy to see. But the interview that we promised you guys coming up for you. Let's see exactly who it is with, and we'll be right back with you.
Hello survivors, welcome to the interview section, and here we are with Pina from Team Falcon. สวัสดีค่ะ Alright, let's ask the first question. For the first question, have to accept that the last map is really tense situation for 4 teams. For each team, they have only just 1 player or 2 players, and Pina is the one who left from Team Falcon. He can still eliminate for like 2 or 3 elims and almost got the booyah. Let's ask what happened. โอเคในแมปสุดท้ายอ่ะเราเหลือ4ทีมแล้วที่แต่ละทีมเนี่ยเหลืออย่างละ1คนตอนนั้นเราเกือบจะได้บูย่าแล้วอีกนิดเดียวเลยเราขโมยอีลิมมาได้เยอะด้วยตอนนั้นเราตัดสินใจยังไงบ้างแล้วก็ทำไมถึงไม่ได้บูย่าตอนนั้น
ครับท้ายเกมครับเหลือผมคนเดียวผมเต็มที่แล้วแค่พลาด1-1ช็อตท้ายเฉยๆครับไอวอลมันหมดแล้วก็ยิงมาเยอะแล้วครับ
So the last game they got a lot of eliminate. Yes, of course. But in that situation, it's only Peanut that left from Team Falcons, and he tries his best to get that booyah, but he don't have anything, for such as the ice wall is all empty. So that's why, and also the enemy got the more advantage. So that's why they didn't get the booyah. Let's go to the next question. For the next question, Team Falcon didn't have any booyah for today and all of the week. So this week is the second week. They have only this 1 booyah. What do you think about that? What is the point that your team cannot get the booyah? อะไรคือสาเหตุหลักที่ทำให้เราไม่ได้บูย่าเพราะตอนนี้คือสัปดาห์ที่2แล้วก็เป็นวันสุดท้ายแล้วด้วยคิดว่าคืออะไร
ก็ตัดสินใจท้ายเกมพลาดนิดหน่อยครับเรื่องทัมมิ่งเรื่องอะไรด้วยครับเดี๋ยวค่อยแก้ในรอบชิงครับ
So the reason is about the late game. So they have to decide what move they gonna do, what they gonna do next, and they just got a lot of mistake about that. So they will try their best next time. So hope they will get improvement in the next game. So let's go to the last question. Do you satisfied with your performance from week 1 and this week also พอใจกับ performance ตัวเองไหมสำหรับสัปดาห์แรกแล้วก็สัปดาห์นี้ด้วย
ก็เรื่องคิวเรื่องคะแนนก็พอใจครับแต่อยากได้บูย่าเหมือนกันครับ
So he's satisfied with the Elim and about the point because they got a lot of point and they are number 1 of the bracket now but it just about the booyah they really want the booyah so let's see for the next match they're gonna get the booyah so thank you for watching our interview section let's get back to the caster and see you next bye bye
I know she got you stumped, man, because for 1 second there I thought that was Yunsu.
I thought so too, but it's not, thankfully. I had my feel today, and gone are the Yunsu days, okay? We are with Caroline, all right? Caroline all the way. That's my new fandom.
See, you're late to the party. It was always Caroline. But of course, at the end of the day, it seems like it's a wrap for yet another exciting day here in Free Fire. It was phenomenal watching the rise of the Malaysian squads. But of course, the fun does not end tomorrow. The final day of Phase 1. We'll see you guys there.